Final thoughts of the day.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Take it, Big Kahunas.
There we go. Thank you very much. Oh no, this poppy is just not staying on. I gotta fix it. I'll fix it in a quick little second there. But we're back, and ooh, I like this. We got a chat going on. The market's actually still green, even though like it's trend down. The market's still going to be to the upside, which we always like in a general sense. I mean, you want the market to go up, not down. But obviously, shout out to. Oh, I was on this AMIX stock because a bunch of people were messaging about it, and I hadn't even seen it here today. I'm not trading the stock. I'm not in it. I'm just in a couple of longs. Bitcoin's trying to make that hold of the 69,000, which it's been doing all day long. Mara's been going as it's trying to go higher. Nvidia did a bit of a reversal, although we're getting back underneath VWAP in here, so let's watch out for that. Bit of a turn there. Let's go to the market because look, the market actually, the NASDAQ, I should say, just made another test of VWAP without actually holding above. So you've been putting in lower highs overall, even though the market is up. It is kind of trend down. So the bottoms have been put in, as you can see on the NASDAQ. ES kind of doing a similar story, although it did break above VWAP. Not much of a hold, however. Like you closed above and then you're immediately back underneath. So the ES just a little bit stronger than the NASDAQ overall. As we said, Bitcoin's still at that 69,000. So the old 70,000 breakout is really going to have to wait, everybody. And if you are not in the chat, then you cannot answer apparently what the poll is in the afternoon show, which is if your portfolio had a theme song, what would it be? Well, I haven't read them all yet, but it's not the first one. Oops, I did it again. Eye of the Tiger, I like that one. Highway to Hell, no. I Will Survive, no. It's Eye of the Tiger because buy and hold, right? Keep the eye on the prize, Eye of the Tiger, run up those steps and do it like Rocky is what you got to do. And buy and hold works in the long term, so I kind of feel like that fits Eye of the Tiger pretty well. So let us know what you guys think on that poll. You got to be in the chat to answer the poll. You got to be a subscriber to be in the chat. So make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe. Let's get this market going up.
Mine's gonna be Highway to Hell. You know, it's always something. All right, guys, welcome back to the show. I mean, it's just another one of those days here today. We'll be slightly green on the day, but we're still holding on. We've got Nvidia, we've got Tesla, we've got Palantir. All the big dogs are continuing to work. We took too big of a hit early on Google. We're still in it. We'll see. Interesting day so far. Oh, AMD is what we took a hit on as well. AMD red today because it lost that. Oh man, came up to 160 again there. 160.05. All right, this is actually not bad. AMD trying to ride upside here, up the 50 period moving average. All right, I hope you guys are all having good days here. My wife just sent me a message. Aloe is having a 30% sale. I sent this to Ramin. But I didn't realize that Aloe's prices are still $200 for jogging pants. So 30% off of 200. I mean, so I phoned Marissa, and it's just like, but this is the problem. And I told this to Ramin before.
Problems.
I bought her the first pair of Aloe pants that she had. So it's like I'm fueling the fire, and Ramin is 100% right.
True.
And on that note, she's picking me up a sweater. So there we go. You know,
hoodie.
So
or like
finally, yeah, a hoodie. I was wearing some Lulu stuff last week. We'll wear some Aloe stuff here, but yeah, it ain't cheap. So we're gonna have to put on some winners here as we go. But Nvidia almost $2 in the money for Google. A little bit of Nvidia as well, but it's all good here. Sharif running around. I think Sharif's got some Lulu pants on. It looks like right now.
That
no,
Lulu?
he does not. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. All right, so, I have Lulu pants on, actually.
Is that what you rocked? What was at the gym today?
What did I do? Oh, today I just did some cardio stuff. So I did the 20 minutes elliptical. I did some rowing, and then I did some chest work and stuff. Oh, and then 10 minutes in the sauna at the end.
Oh, the sauna's that's the way to go, man. Especially people like as a recovery thing. It's really I love the sauna.
So I'm like have a mental problem with all of this, and part of it is like I'm sitting there in the sauna, and I just think to myself like I could be trading, and then I was like I gotta hurry up and get out of here. So I can't stay anywhere for too long. I am actively waiting to get back in trades. I'm like sitting there watching the clock. It's like, I mean, it's nice to sit here, but I should be trading. All right, 2:05 right now. Look, we're going to be running over some names. Big earnings week. I mean, it's mega.
It's the big one.
It's going to be mega. Oh man, you know why? As I was working out, I actually listened to JRE.
Interesting.
I listened to Trump on there. I thought it was pretty interesting. I mean, some of the stuff there wasn't. I mean, I just like sort of how candid they are. I've never listened to Joe Rogan actually before, really. This was the first one. I was just flashing. I was like, what part? I was looking for Pat McAfee. I was looking for the Pat McAfee show, and I couldn't find it.
We're all over the place right now.
And yeah, and then so it just suggested this because it's on, even though it's a Spotify thing, I guess it's on. I have it on my Apple podcast, so I don't know. It was sitting there on Apple Music, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess they just broadcast it everywhere. I guess Spotify. Didn't he make an exclusive deal though?
There's a lot of
So
money.
why? So I guess then Apple's paying.
It must be.
Apple's paying probably Spotify, I guess, for the content.
Gotta be.
Will be. I guess that's what it was. Okay, well there you go. So I just gave some more money
Not to-
all you Apple shareholders.
Not to go, we'll get. I promise we're going to Sharif next.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Spotify. Just,
Wait a couple minutes.
Oddly
Yeah,
enough.
talk some more. I mean, those Buffalo Bills yesterday.
No, I'm talking Spotify, dude. Today, like not many others, it literally tagged another 52-week high. This stock is primed. This is now the fourth time it is tagged the top at 390 and pull back. So as long as it keeps doing that with higher lows, oh, there's Sharif. See, Sharif, if you do like just do an uppercut, then we can break out the top. Here, you can't jump that high. Can we do? You can break this level. No, but you can break the lower high in here, but we're already above that one. No, but Spotify looking pretty good there. And Sharif, I don't know. Sharif seems like he has some hops. You dunk in high school? Well, obviously.
All right, guys, welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every day. You saw them already. They're locked, they're loaded, Neil and Sean, and they're ready to look at the takers as decided by you. So make sure to join us during that midday show and get into the chat and vote for your favorite tickers, but only the top 5 make it on. Here's a look at the Qs. Let's start with the indexes or the indices. The NQ is the best performing index on Friday. Today, it's actually the lowest, only 0.25% in the green here for the NQ, about 0.5%, a little bit less than that for the ES, but the Dow and the Russell really doing a lot better today, 0.75% in the green for the Dow, and 1.6% in the green for the Russell as we continue to watch that rotation trade take place after the FOMC rate cut there. So let's have a look now for number one at the number one ticker as decided by you, TSLA. Kind of an uneventful day, down 0.25% today. Nothing really new for Tesla on the weekend. Elon Musk was at Madison Square Garden yesterday with Donald Trump. Canaccord Genuity maintaining their buy on Tesla and boosting the price target a little bit lower than $300 bucks, 298 guys. But uneventful day here for Tesla.
Uneventful day.
You had a good trade on Tesla. It wasn't that uneventful.
Yeah, we have. Tesla today will be P&L number one. Nvidia will be putting up numbers. Actually, Nvidia and Tesla right now are talking to each other about this. But right here, I mean, we just believed in it and held it. That's all that it is. I mean, it came in. It was our number one idea here on the sticky note today. So, when we're writing those things down, we have to trade it and we have to believe in it. So that's basically, whoopsies, wrong one. That's what we did. We like that 265 area, man, right there. I don't know if we can find. Anyways, here's the sticky note. Anyways, 265. Just watch for a pullback as we open at all-time highs. 52-week highs. Should have wrote that, not all-time highs. Look to VWAP for a trade, but if not, wait for confirmation. So the only thing about this Tesla trade was we got a little. I mean, the reason why we were able to hold it, and I'm just realizing that I don't really need to use even that many shares in order to make a decent amount of money because the stocks are moving this way now. So I'm not actually layering into them until we get down to levels that I like. And if we don't hit on the sticky note, that's fine. But we did hit. We put 265. It came into 266 off of a $5 drop. Now remember, we're writing the sticky note up here. So we're kind of just picking, not random levels, but we're looking back and doing some work. That very bottom is 265. So 266 is good enough. And you can't be averaged in here with an average price. I think it was 266.67, I think at the beginning of the day when we first had this trade. Now, you can't hold it $1, $2 against you and not be willing to take that kind of a profit, right? So we did it. It worked out. Now we are in a very, very small reload right here. I still want to play Tesla off of this level until we break the futures, which we might do right now. So I'm still going long Tesla 268 if it drops in a little bit more, but not as much as I like it down here. So let's just not pretend like the futures can't drop. We're underneath VWAP and we're not having a fun time. So I don't know if I love these longs. The only long I really like is Nvidia, and that's not even on the board. So we'll get to that in a bit, but that's what I'm all about right now.
So for myself on Tesla, the note I had this morning was, it's only a couple of days since the earnings, so like it's a small sample size. But since then, like it just would not lose pre-market lows. Like it would gap up. And on strength, you weren't breaking underneath pre-market lows for a couple of days in a row. You did technically have some kind of a test of that on Friday. And then today, it lost the pre-market bottom. And underneath there, like for myself, I was waiting for 262. I was actually talking to a couple of traders about that. Like I like the 62. It didn't get there. I didn't really favor a breakout on Tesla today after it did that pattern reversal. But you know what? You ended up holding first support. And first support at 265 looks pretty darn good. On that daily, I mean, this is what you gotta like here. You're consolidating above that prior high. Now, when we zoom out, you realize there's still some room to go here for Tesla. If you consolidate here for like a week or however long we end up potentially in this $5 to $7 range, who knows? You've got 280. I zoomed out too far. You've got 280 next, and then the vaunted $300. So I think even a day like today, where you had to wait for that 65 bottom, I was waiting for 62, or you don't get a continuation, you still have a ton of volume and you're holding prior lows and prior support levels. Let's see if we can continue to do that on Tesla. That was about it for those. I guess we're not going to talk about, okay, I'll make one comment about Bitcoin right now because I don't actually see it on there. Ibit.
Did it break?
Well, Ibit's, why do I have this add text?
Oh, 39.50. Oh, it's right there.
Get rid of that text.
Okay.
I don't know if I was drawing text lines there. But it's almost at the high of the day there for Bitcoin. I'm just showing you guys Ibit because that's what I had up. But BTC is back above 69,000, which is what that means. And Mara took out the top and has been continuing higher. So it's basically breaking out an 18.5 on Mara, up 10%. Now, keep in mind, Mara still has this 19 stuff on the daily chart, the 200-period moving average, resistance at $19. So even in here, like it just got to 74s, or sorry, just above 70s. I just took some out there. I have an offer, I think, above 75. And as it gets into 19, I'm covering into that 19 level. So strength over in BTC, but also strength in DJT.
And it helped Donald Trump add another $4 billion to his net worth, probably a little bit more with the other 7.33% that we added today off the highs, though, guys. Obviously, this one was above 7 1/3, more like 18 1/3%. It's up 17 1/3 right now. Misread that. We're keeping an eye, obviously, on the betting markets, Kalshi, Poly market, as well as some others. Keeping an eye, 62.1 to 37.9, guys, as this one continues to yin and yang.
Yeah, so just quickly on that Ibit talk there, because we wrote down Ibit right here, 39.50 long on the sticky note today. So that's right here right now. It's been a good trade. So here it is right here, Ibit. Watch out for Bitcoin. We have it right down here. So there it is, coming close to triggering right now. High of the day, 39.49. What did we write down? 39.50. So if we just went short, we could have already made 50 cents. But I wasn't sitting here to try to buy these bottoms. I don't think I would have either. I prefer the break. So let's see if that works, just so that you guys know, in case it does break there, we will be into that one. Look, I haven't traded this today. I haven't paid for shorts. I thought short was fool's gold again, and it seems like it was right. I mean, you could have picked some shorts up here for sure. $47 has been a good short. I've sort of just said that 50, this game stops, and I mean, you can at me if you want. I've made many calls. This game stops on Wednesday, Thursday. So 51, $52. I think that's the top now. I wouldn't play this into the election or anything like that. We've talked about where these polls are. I'll just quickly show this down again, and I'll just refresh it. It's always bouncing between. It doesn't really matter at this point, honestly. It's all about these states. They turned one of them. What was it, Wisconsin? There's Wisconsin there. Michigan. What was the other one that was? Oh, Pennsylvania now, because it's 61. Okay, so these were the only two decision states right here, and they're pretty close, 50-50. Obviously in Michigan, that's going to weigh huge. And then Wisconsin with only 10 electoral votes, I guess, 62-38. So anyways, that's what's looking right now. So obviously DJT again goes higher. Now, whether or not these polls are lying or what, we know the way the election's going to go down. We're going to tell, and that's November 5th. So I don't think it's worth being around here for that. You know, we had this move up here. This was the day of the attempted assassination, I guess. There, July 14th or 15th, and then that was the Monday. And then, you know, since then it was straight to the downside. I still think this is eventually the way this stock goes, but, you know, you're standing in front of a freight train. And I guess if he wins, you know, I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked up the PE of this or anything like that. I don't believe there's an E yet, though. So, you know, at some point,
they have revenue.
You know, the law. Yeah, okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, so we've paid up for stocks that don't make any money in the past, right? I mean, you can look at Tesla early day, Amazon, all these stocks come out and don't make money. There's some stocks even right now.
Even SMR right now. I don't think SMR is not making.
I don't know if they're making money or not. I just know that I'm in it.
It's flying.
But I mean, I feel like similar to DJT and SMR. Yeah, well, I don't know if they're making money or not. But anyways, DJT, I could see a path for it. But I think 47 is that next break. And yeah, why not absorb VWAP? Right, back into VWAP, long again. We just bounced off of it again. So yeah, right now that'd be 45 and a quarter. So you're almost there.
Yeah, unfortunately today, like I had one trade in DJT. I thought this was going to be what it usually does on a gap. Like when it gaps up, you get at least some kind of a retest of the prior high, stay on trend in the daily. That was absolutely not the case. Instead, it just pulled into 41. I did take a 44 into 45, and that was more or less it. I don't really have too much to add there, except obviously that French whale guy seems to think that Trump is going to win. 45 mil he bet on that. So we'll see how that plays out.
I bet 45 million on it?
Yeah, so they found like there's it's somebody in France. That's all we know. Somebody in France bet 45 mil on the election outcome. So, you know, good luck to them.
It's probably Macron, maybe.
Could you imagine?
You know? No, I mean, yes, I couldn't. No, I don't even have to imagine it.
Well,
I just... Yeah, somebody like that.
Well, some kind of a connection too, as opposed to directly. Like, you don't want to be straight up Nancy Pelosi in that situation. Oh, the only other thing I wanted to add was there is some ancillary plays there, right? Like, we always talk about DJT, and we don't necessarily go over, you know, like Rumble is up 14%, so that's having a very strong day as well. Just watch. I mean, if DJT continues to go, this is one that hasn't really made that next step breakout, so it could be worth watching at least for the next couple of days. Maybe you can break out, you know, past this 6.5, 660, where it's having some trouble going into. So it's worth keeping an eye on this one, but it's also worth keeping an eye on opportunities to trade with somebody else's capital instead of your own.
Best kind.
That's what it means to be a funded trader at Trade the Pool, and this is how it works. Complete the evaluation program by meeting profit targets. Once you succeed, you trade the pool's capital, which gives you the ability to trade with up to $260,000 worth of buying power. The best part is you keep up to 80% of your profits while the firm takes the risks. It's the ultimate way to trade, whether you're a beginner or professional trader. Go and check tradethepool.com. I went over the website and it looks promising. Join now for free. Link is in the description. Also scan that QR code below. Shout out to Trade the Pool. And I did check. SMR isn't making a profit. They have revenues, but the SMR is not yet making a profit. So sometimes you do pay up for things that aren't making money. I want to make that throw. And let's talk about some Sofi. Ooh, tomorrow morning's report.
You got it, Neil. Yep. They're going to report tomorrow morning. Analysts expecting about 4 cents per share, which implies profitability. Obviously, they're up nicely on the day, 2% off the highs. Though, but I did want to bring your attention to this weekly chart on Sofi, guys. So this level, this is the IPO low. Look at how many times we're getting into that same level and rejecting. That's kind of the same level, and we're right at it right now. Right there, guys. So very critical level here on the weekly on Sofi. But if I had to guess, we're off the low, so good luck.
Yeah, it's got like a quadruple top at $11.30 today. So that little, I guess, let's go back to the weekly for just to give you guys some points of confluence.
Start getting out.
Right? Like you look at that top, It's 11.5. You made another top at like 10.5. But look, in the weekly, you actually closed above in the weekly. Were it not for earnings tomorrow morning, that usually for myself would be, we hold this week, it's an automatic long. I'm going to wait for after earnings. And if it might just be a place to put a trail in as well. But there's no break. Like, it looked to me for most of the lunchtime, and I didn't want this breakout. Forget about a quad top here when you only have to go like 6 cents higher from that break to get Friday's high. Now, you can just wait for this to break off of Friday's high. Like, I thought this was going to actually happen, and it hasn't still, so you're rolling back over. With the market under VWAP and now trending back down, I'm less likely to think that we're getting this breakout here today on SoFi, but I'll keep it up. And again, I don't really have, like, I wasn't really looking to short this one. The trend has been up on SoFi. If anything, just that breakout from Friday's high would have been the play. It's still possible that we get something like that this afternoon. But with the market trending down a bit, it's a little bit less likely. So, I mean, Sharif went over that weekly chart. Get the report in the morning. I wish it was after market. It's obviously more fun if it's after market, but I'm certain this is going to be a mover tomorrow. I'm just likely not to trade it till then.
Yeah, it'll be a good mover tomorrow. Look, we really like SoFi. We've been hitting that long. We were long last week, a couple days, and made money one day, lost money the other day. One day we busted it a little bit too early, and we were unable to. Well, we actually, I think on that day we're fine when we first took out, but it was just kept on making 52-week highs after 52-week highs. So right now, let me get exactly what the 52-week high is right now. It is 11.34, so we do not make a new one today, but we came close to it. There's the 52-week high right here made on Friday pre-market, and I guess if we're taking 34, it's that opening wick right there. So, look, I like the stock. I think it continues to work. I mean, huge move to the upside. My worry is how far away from the 50 period you are. And it's just, I always feel like retracement back to the mean, and not that 50 period is the mean, but it's just, you know, it's very, very nice. It's up 20%. I mean, if you go back two weeks, that's 20% in 2 weeks, 25% in 2 weeks. So it's had a move. Let's put it that way. Let's just wait for earnings, but I guarantee you we'll be trading this tomorrow. SoFi on radar.
Apple launching the first of 3 iterations of its Apple Intelligence AI today. Today is the most uneventful of the bunch, so not much being released. But the first iteration of that. Then in late to mid-December, we're going to have the second. But the one that we're all waiting for is that third one, slated for early next year. That is the one that's supposed to have Siri integrated into everything and give you contextual suggestions, etc., and the like. So that's that headline. They also released a new version of the iMac, this time including the M4 chip, which is obviously ready for AI. But this is the headline that got me, guys. I don't know how your childhood went, but Oregon Trail was a staple of my childhood. Apparently, Apple's going to make it into a movie.
I had a completely different childhood. I have no idea what that.
No, to be honest, like usually, like these types of references.
Neil does.
No, but usually these types of references, like I feel like I should know it, but yeah, I don't. I don't know that one at all. Like I consider myself like half a nerd, and I had a lot of old school.
Oh, you consider yourself
games.
full nerd? I thought.
Well, I'm not. I don't know everything though.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm not. I'm surprised I don't know that one. Sorry, Sharif.
It's a video game. I still don't even.
No, I'm looking it up to see if it even
What's it called?
Oregon Trail.
I mean, I know Oregon Pinot Noir.
I don't know if it even jogs a memory, to be honest with you. But you know what? You don't need much of a memory to understand that Apple is strong and Apple is a good stock. So that's the long and short of it. Apple's up 1% today. Like, you're talking about a day where the market is, I mean, the Nasdaq's 0.1, the ES is 0.3. So, you know, being up 1% is going to be a good thing on a day like today. No question about it for Apple. Holding that 50 period. Where's my 200? Just to show you how far away it is from the two. Hey, look at that. The 200 period's at $200 on Apple. But look, just how far and disconnected it is from the 200 period. You can see how strong it is. But we haven't made that next run. Obviously, reporting late this week, you're going to get a test of that 237.5. For today, it was just about 233. Essentially, like Friday's high, 233, and the 233 level has played from 233 into like 234.5. Although, you know, I didn't hold it into that high. It still sets up for maybe a 235 breakout. But any long, 33 longs and 35 longs, they all come into that 37 top that you see on the daily. So Apple's kind of taking it 1% at a time here. into that inevitable breakout of that high. Maybe we just have to wait until earnings to get a real test of it.
So I mean, we just made 20 cents reversing Tesla. So I'm now going short this name here. We broke, so we just tried it at 267.80 there, and it lost 50s. And now it just keeps on trying to bounce back and forth. We're starting pretty light. I did want to give it up to 268 flat, but the 50 period is right here right now. The reason why I'm doing this, it's 50 cents. That's the most we're giving it though. So we'll just take a quick 17 cents there on a little bit. Hopefully it'll fall back in. We'll be able to take, in and around that 50 cents out of half and then wait. And then so we can get 2 to 1 and so on and so forth. But again, what we were doing was just trying to figure out what the futures wanted to do. Tesla red today. So although all the money today has been made long, we're going to enter into our first short right now on Tesla. And I just said under my breath that I was going to maybe have to start getting rid of some Nvidia and some Google. We did a little bit here. But here we go, starting to go back up to the upside right now. So, all right, let's go over to Sharif and figure out what's going on with SMR.
It's up.
I have no idea, Sean, because I'm stuck in this Oregon Trail game over here. Shout out to Ram. That's fantastic. I love how you did that. All right, guys, SMRs, which is obviously Nucor Energy, short for small modular reactors. The entire industry has been very strong today. It's got a nice bump up, 16% and change. Yeah, it's not just SMR. It's shares of the nuclear or these nuclear adjacent trades trading higher on continued strength after Amazon and Google announced that they were looking at nuclear as one of the ways they want to power their data centers for AI, guys. Good look for SMR.
Leeway there or whatever.
It's a powerhouse on SMR today.
Yes, I cannot believe it.
Yeah, it's breaking out. It looks fantastic. There's no question about it. I just wanted to go to, here, can we show 25% short float. They report on my mom's birthday, so that's another reason why I love this stock. Nothing bad has ever happened on my mom's birthday. I'm going to just throw that out there. So SMR is going to blow it out of the water because of that. No, we were just talking about this. They don't turn a profit yet, but you're breaking out past $20 in here today. Like, look at this daily chart. This is what you want a squeeze name to look for. Like, don't get me wrong, I have nothing against, you can make gains on stocks that are trending down, that are breaking out, that are smaller, that are companies that aren't making money. But you know what? The one that's like trending up, where the price action is at least supporting that they're going to grow into it, as opposed to catching a bottom, you're just catching a bit of a bottom and hoping to get lucky on like a GameStop or something like that. Like, I'd rather be in something like this, which we are. But in those, if you look at where this has come from, there's always like a but. I don't want to, not to be like that. $7 double bottom. That goes into a triple up into 20s here. I do feel like there's going to be an opportunity coming up to get some out before those earnings drop on the 7th. So that's just like a week and, it's a couple of weeks away here, effectively. I'm going to look for somewhere personally to trim. As far as the trade goes this afternoon on SMR, it hasn't given you VWAP since early in the day. So I'd hesitate to be like, oh, automatically VWAP is a bounce. On SMR, I'd be more inclined to think that if it breaks VWAP, you got this little bounce at 2075. It's because it hasn't gone to VWAP and respected it. There's no way to be that confident. It's not like a big cap tech name where I'd be like, oh yeah, we like a VWAP retrace. It's not that simple. This seems to be a little bit different here. More of a squeeze name. So I'd look to see if it broke VWAP here, maybe got some people out, and then could hold at 2065. But it just had a pullback here, although up 18%. Those pullbacks are like drops in the bucket.
Look, we posted as well when we were in SMR. We're in there 12 and change. We took some out at 1850. I'm not going to take any more out. Okay, so we just got some more Tesla right here. It came back up into the 80s there, almost broke through, but now it's starting to come back in just a little bit there as the futures did retest the 50 period. I was hoping that Tesla would be a little bit lower than where we are right now, considering the pushback, but we're now flat on this trade and ho-humming it right now. Yeah, look, I think uranium's been pretty hot, right? So you can continue to watch that name. Like I said, I'm in it, been waiting for it to do this. So we'll consider ourselves holders now of the stock and see what can happen. I don't have the same feels about that as we do Palantir, or did about Palantir. And then Palantir's, since we were talking about it, it's gone up from 9, 10, 11 bucks into 45. So I don't think we have, the SMRs, I don't think is an $80 stock, but you know, weirder things have happened. If you like the space, and you could just get the ETF. Okay, here we go, man. Serious money starting to be made right now. We just got a nice fill down there on Tesla. I don't even know where it was. I'm going to put another bid there in the 30s. We got 23s right there. Ring the Reggie right now on Tesla. Let's see if it can pull back just a little bit. I was like, okay, here we go, Tesla. Here we go. Glad we sort of paused to talk about some actual trades here. Nice move there for Tesla, bringing back in. But again, it's just a scalp. I don't, you know, we can sit here and watch these futures, but like if you got excited every single time the market went down, it was literally 2 minutes later, we popped right back up. So that's why it's like, good, take the fill. And you might be able to see me sort of like randomly put out, or not randomly, like actively put out orders when stock like that moves, because we want to make sure that we do capture the trade. So that's that. Hearing something about Disney, but I don't know.
Oh, let me just realize I gotta
get some more out.
I gotta restart mine. Very quickly, Ibit just bounced off of VWAP in here. So Bitcoin, I should say, bounced off of VWAP. When that happened, notice that it was sort of trending back in. There's your lower high. On the way back up, gonna take some more Mara out. As it's close to that 19 level. 19 is resistance on Mara. So the closer we get to that, want to make sure we're showing some strength and higher lows on Ibit, which is actually making some lower highs back into VWAP. So if we lose VWAP, I want to be taking more profit here on Mara. Not reversing on it. I just don't feel like that's the way to go yet. And we didn't really go over the other names in crypto. Like, Coin's only now trying to get back above VWAP. This one's curious, and I wonder, probably has something to do with the earnings this week. So Coin reports earnings this week. It was, I want to say, like, it wasn't a negative trade, but it was a failed break of 214, at least in terms of the price action, because it didn't follow through. And then you spent more time underneath 214. You basically only made money if you just took the initial breakout. Any reloads after that kind of went against you more than they went in the money. But it's worth noting you're now getting back above the 214 on Coin. So Bitcoin holds this VWAP in here. It's not just Mara that can go. You've got Coin, you've got MSTR, which is already a super strong one. Nvidia is still battling with VWAP, but it's starting to lose that battle a little bit. And the strongest chip name out there is Nvidia's about to go red. The strongest chip name today was ARM, and ARM is pulling back into VWAP and battling with this $150 level. I feel like if we lose the 150 on ARM, see the consolidation underneath, you're going to get a VWAP test here on ARM. Going to put that one on the radar for sure. Apple VWAP is incoming. It's not there yet, but for now, I like Apple at VWAP. Apple was just twice off VWAP for me, 1 for 2 on Apple off VWAP. Going to try it the third time we come in here. So as long as Apple can hold VWAP, I like it. But with the market coming down in here, got to be patient. Got to let it come to me at my prices. And Ibit's about to take that VWAP again. It's just, it couldn't seem to make that. It just couldn't seem to make that breakout. Bitcoin, I'm telling you, Bitcoin gets to that top, and then it just does not go. Every single time we get above 69,000, the follow through is just non-existent. It's not happening. It's only going to happen on a weekday. Oh, weekend, I should say. It's not going to happen on a weekday.
Oh man. I mean, Tesla right now, we just got filled teens there. No, my bad, we got filled 20. 141, okay, well now it's in the teens. Okay, 141.20. I'm gonna put something, I just realized I don't have anything down here. There we go, at O's, bang! Wow! All right, guys, this is, I mean, wow, Nia, are we reading this stock today? We've made like probably more on Tesla, we probably made more on Tesla than what our month is even at because we lost on other names. But here comes Tesla right now. Like we were long. This was P&L number 1 here today just from these longs. And then all of a sudden we flipped it. We went long and lost right when we started the show. And then we were like, let's try to go some short now. So we're getting less and less on this right now. We have about 35% left of this trade here on Tesla. Just came in nicely there. All right, we took $2 in the money on Google, by the way. You might have heard me, well, I'm sure you did, when I was like, okay, we probably got to start getting out right now. So we did that, and we've been cashing out of some Nvidia as well. So right now we're sitting in about $2 and change. No, sorry, we're talking about 3 and change in the money right now. Almost $1 here on the called out Tesla play. So I'm really proud of that one. I mean, these are not just plays that we're putting on for jokes. Like, this is the #1 P&L name here today. So that should tell you enough about like what we're trying to do. There's Nvidia here as well. I am starting to get lighter and lighter on this. I feel a little more comfortable if we lighten up the load there, especially if this market does come back in. So, all right, let's just keep on getting some more out on Tesla. It just bounced again. Okay, there we go. We put an O's out, we get filled. We're just going to get more and more out. So we just got out of 10% of what we had left. So let's wait to see now what's happening with Tesla. But yeah, so I mean, so far so good. You know, you never know where these stocks are going to take you. But for right now, it looks like Tesla wants to give some back, and I am fine with that. I mean, our long level was 265. So if we can run the long from 266 up to 273. I mean, realistically, most of the outs are in between here. 70 half and 71 right here as we come back into the downside. What's up, Randy? So Tesla P&L 1 today, long, up here from this bottom, and we just reversed into the short as now we're playing underneath the 50-period moving average. Tesla down 1%, Randy. Market flat. So
that warm coffee.
Interesting.
Me feels.
Yeah, you want a warm coffee? You loaded this coffee up there. I was actually almost going to ask for those the peach tea, but I feeling like I needed something. We got hockey tonight.
Cold in here.
It is.
You're not cold. My hands are freezing.
The furnace is on in the house. Could we? Do you have any projects on the go? Because I was thinking we could put.
I would kill for a
wood fireplace right over there underneath the TV. You pull out the couch. Next thing you know, we're just all jamming. Like
that would be good to go.
I mean, and then when we get traders behind us, you know, they'll start to love all of that. I mean, I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to look out for the guys.
That's like the best. I mean,
the traders. You know what I'm saying?
That is the best way to get warm is a real fire. Like it's just a different. Yeah. It's to your core. It's a different feel, man. I'm telling you. We love our fireplace at home, although we haven't used it in a couple of years. Just
No, you must really love it.
No, well, we use it every single year, and then there's just an issue with the chimney.
That's the thing. You got to clean that flue out.
Yeah, exactly. So we have to figure it out. Too bad isn't real.
There we go, Fabian.
Too bad that ain't real.
Bring that over here, baby.
Oh, yeah. If only that was actually working.
It is. Yo, Fabian, watch your hands, bro. It's getting close to the flame. Fabian. We need those hands. Who's going to switch? Ramin.
Ramin's got it.
Get that off the screen, man. This guy's got to switch.
She's got this. Ramin's
man, you guys, man. I mean, I'm just suggesting one thing. Next thing you know, we've got graphics and all this stuff there. This is what content's all about.
It would be, don't get me wrong, it would be fantastic. DJT just made a bit of a move off of VWAP in here. VWAP hold for DJT. I'm looking at that 45. We had 44s earlier. 45 holding. This is another one trending back to the upside as it continues to go. So a bit of a spike there on DJT, up 18%. I'm going to look for VWAP retracements to continue the long trend into the upside. And this time, if Mara doesn't take out the high, if Bitcoin holds VWAP and Mara doesn't take out the high, going to have to take out off this top because Bitcoin's bouncing again.
Ozan. I mean, you asked if I could, take you in and stuff like that. Unfortunately, the answer is going to be no on that one. But I mean, if you just take the trades, maybe you could live, on your own and figure this all out because there it is right there. It's another dollar. So again, these aren't like joking around trades. We talked about going short on this name and boom, put it right back in, right there. For me, hopefully, and for you guys, these have been pretty successful and good-looking trades right now. We're long at 140.17 down here. We've been getting more and more out on Nvidia. We've actually warned everybody that these were spots to get out, right? So that's what we're doing. We can hold no problem all the way up. It's just once it gets up there and you're holding on to shares, you have to have spots where you start to get out. So that's what we did right there, starting to get out now, obviously, of our Nvidia. As again, the market's just underneath right now, so we'll still do it. All right, so here comes Tesla. Let's get out of a little bit more here, as it's just bouncing around. I mean, why not? We're bidding some 74s there, and there it is. We'll ring the register again on that one. But there it is, man. It's $1. It's a good one. It's a chicken dinner winner. I don't know. They had chicken around here. Today we had some egg salad on top, which isn't bad. I might do the Ramin move, say no eggs, and that way I'd get more tuna. I am debating that.
Yeah, but...
Oh, you had tuna today? Oh, she had tuna. Oh, you have it every day. Oh, for real. Yeah. She apparently they didn't mix it with any mayo or anything.
Yeah, but that doesn't. No, they did not. That doesn't sound cool.
You can do that. I mean, on top of a salad, it's not that bad.
That's true. I mean,
You gotta put some dressing on that.
I don't know. You put a little bit. You got to put a little effort.
But the thing is, I like the egg salad. I don't want to sacrifice.
I love the egg salad.
But I don't like
the
when
egg salad. I love.
No, I'm saying I'm trying to think of like a way that I could convince.
Oh, you want to have more tuna?
Yeah.
Well, my thing would just be to only have egg salad and tuna. I just don't like it when we have like lunch meat on top.
Yeah, well,
of the salad.
obvious. I mean, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
The lunch meat on top of a salad. It's just a weird one to me, man. Like I'll have lunch meat.
I don't want to be like so pretentious. Like, could I just please have tuna every day? Because then I get bored of it.
That's not pretentious. That's just you like what you like. Feedback is the way to the game. I tell my daughter all the time. You don't get anything. You don't get what you don't ask for, right? Like if you don't, what's the worst? The worst is it could be a no, and then you're back where you started. So it never hurts to ask what you want. Ask for what you want. So I did say on this last bounce off of VWAP on Ibit in here, if we don't break a new high then on Mara, then I'm not going to like it. We did just bust a high again. I missed a chance to reload, but again, it was long a couple times here, 18.5 into 18.6, and it bounced 18.5 since we came back on. It's just been trending above this 18.5 into what I think is $19, a brick wall. So I'm expecting 19 to be a brick wall, and I want to be out of Mara when it gets to 19. So, let me just go over here. Again, just to reiterate that point, like here's that 19 level up at that top. I think that's going to be a sell zone for sure. And why do I prefer not to talk about Nvidia? Well, I've already sort of said on Nvidia, like I got out in front of Nvidia. I don't like the fact that it's rolling back over. I don't have a reload zone. And I have a trail to prior high in here, which is, I don't like even dollar stops. Every time I've used an even dollar stop, today, I'm like slapping myself over it. No, I have a couple of trades on Nvidia. I was short when it broke the flat bottom, and then it did a trend reversal in here. So I trailed out of it when it broke trend, and then I went into a long, and then got stopped out here, and then re-entered when it reaffirmed the trend, and that's the trend that I'm in. So just looking for it to hold underneath that 141. Fortunately, I was short then long. So the fact that that stop out happened in there, we're up on Nvidia. It's actually up more than any stock that I'm down, but that's mostly because short and a winning long. So 2 for 3 on Nvidia, and I'm trailing it out, not at this even 141, even though that's exactly where lower end support is. Like I said, I just don't like even dollar stops. They tend to get hunted. Give it a couple of extra pennies in there, and they to each their own. I mean, there are situations where I actually absolutely do use even dollar stop orders. Those tend to be when it's like a monster. Like if it's like an example would be like NEO. If NEO was at $5, I would have zero trouble putting a stop at 99 on NIO. But I'm not trading NIO. I think with those, it's just a bit of a different story, and I'd be more willing to do that. Speaking of NEO, NEO actually was very strong today. I actually don't even know if it broke that $6 level. Let me just go over that because I feel as if NEO, we talked about it this morning, and then we didn't retrade any of the Chinese ADRs. No, it didn't break 6. So it went 535. Held that prior high, got to 6, and then died at 6, and now it's at VWAP. This, super strong. I think it's finally making a real move. Whether it gets back into that 750, most of the Chinese ADRs put in some kind of a bottom. It was BABA that held $100, actually underneath $100 and held $100 today. You had NEO holding 5 and then holding over the 50 period today in that 535, but no break of 6 yet. Yet is the key operative word, because I still think as long as it keeps holding these higher lows above 5, a 6 breakout is a good scalp opportunity here for a NEO. It just has to wait another day. There is another one that's moving that I wanted to go over to, because that was Apple. Still not there. It's trying to pull back into VWAP. It's just not there yet. I think it's a matter of if, not when, we get into VWAP here on Apple.
I mean, Sharif just comes back and sits down, and he's going to say what's going on with Tesla, and I'm going to tell him we're $1.50 short in the money now. Nothing really, man. It's just breaking a little lower. You know, thank you for asking, Sharif, what's going on with Tesla. But yeah, man, I mean, just another day right here, another dollar and change on board right here. And again, it's just the way things are moving for us right now. You know, really being able to see some of these trades. So Nvidia, let's have a quick look at that one as well. Nvidia just pulling back in. So we're going to watch out for this trade again, exactly. And remember, you know, we've talked about this. we don't show our share sizes or anything like that. But obviously, like, you know, if I'm making all of these outs, you know, we have a position on to be able to do that. So that's where I'm saying, well, no.
Well, I know now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For me, yeah, different story. But yeah, no. What I'm getting at here is just the fact is that as you continue to go upside right now, you just got to be careful about. Doesn't matter what I was getting at was. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm telling you guys this because I'm just legging out of some of these positions. You're going to have different traders doing different strategies all over the place. So if you're swinging Nvidia, I mean, I don't think you're really too worried about this yet. I mean, it would be nice to be green today. What you're generally looking for is like stocks that are greater than or weaker than the market. And right now, Nvidia is weaker than, with the market pulling back now zeros, and Nvidia's down 0.5%. So I would almost, I think for me, if I was looking to sell Nvidia, I almost think it's too late. Like you could have done it pretty much all day. I don't know if we want to necessarily sell it right here when we're at the 200 period moving average, but that's on a daily chart. That's if you're day trading it like we are right here. But if you're trying to hold this, I mean, whoops. Oh, that's right. Our charts don't have the. Hold on a second. So I'm long this name. I'm not getting out of Nvidia, but I was just thinking like Neil and I are holding these stocks and getting in and out as the day fits because we are out at the end of every day. But like you're not really that worried about Nvidia, I would say, at least that's 140. So that's today. So that, you know, if you're going to keep getting stopped out every time it breaks 140, then you'll never be in it. So I would say like down into here, that's like 135, 136. So those would be sort of areas where maybe you're a little more concerned than up here. That's all. I mean, I don't think it's rocket science when you're looking at charts to make that assumption, you know, about this stock. So I would say hold on to it. Like this was October 2nd, $115. It's at, let's just say 140 right now, Rich, it is. That's $25. That's about 17% there in 3 weeks, 3.5, 4 weeks. So lots of upside potential here for Nvidia. I don't think the party's anywhere from getting stopped out yet. But for me right here, Tesla right now, I don't know what's going on with Tesla, but this is what's happening to my net. I mean, we are right now $2 in the money. Where's it there? Dare's over there. I mean, if she finds anything, we'll get it to you, but I don't know if there is. We're just ringing the Reggies again down here. We are like Reggie Miller firing from deep right now. I mean, this is just another ho-hum. Neil, we took 266 long all the way up here into we took $5 or $6 long, and now we're another $2 short. I mean, this has been a dream here for a while. What's up, Sebastian? And what's up to all of you guys here as well? We talk about putting on the shares. There it is, man, $2 short, and we still got the goods on board here. And then we were dumping Nvidia at the top, so we're pretty good here, just holding on to a small piece of NVDA. Let's see where this market takes us.
Yeah, great look in there. And speaking of the fact that the market's headed to the downside, I'm going to get out on trend break of Mara. We just broke VWAP on Ibit, so maybe we're actually going to hold on. But right now, no LFT, and Nvidia came out. My stop was actually at 88, underneath the 90 level, so I threw my stop at 88 on Nvidia. It's underneath VWAP as well. You know what? Actually, we're holding on. Bitcoin's actually holding this VWAP. There was just a bit of a lit grab. So I'll give it back underneath. I'm not going to move the stop. I was going to tighten it up. No, I'm just going to leave it right underneath that 60 level. So we're just a couple of shekels underneath that 60 as far as I'm concerned. Bitcoin's holding on a lot better than everything else. Apple is making its test of VWAP now. So there's the wick underneath VWAP for Apple. Just need to see it hold on. Like right now the market is bleeding. I don't want to catch it on the way down. I want to see at least some kind of strength. Like ideally, you get like the wick under, show some green, trend back up. Like you could have a move like this. Just want something strong where you can get back into a trend to the upside instead of catching that falling knife. Looking back over to some of the other names that we're looking for the short trade on. I don't think ARM is really cooperating. No, ARM is not really breaking down at all, so ARM still looks like it's going to be a strong one. It's going to have to be Apple in here. Again, just looking for that setup into VWAP. It's starting to show a little bit of strength off VWAP as we speak. So we'll try to nibble in over the 70 level. And again, just try to play a strong stock long and look for weak ones to be short. Sean's got Yeah, Nvidia, which is currently weak right now. I haven't seen many chip names. So not Nvidia, Tesla. Yeah, I had Nvidia on the brain.
This is okay.
Outside of Nvidia, I had no other, there's no other chip names that I like underneath VWAP. And I keep coming back to this, like it was a short earlier. It clearly reversed trend. If it wasn't for that trend reverse, I'd probably be looking short on NVDA, but I want something for a short setup, again, that's in that sort of tech space right now. If the market's going to get to VWAP again, we'll have to see. But Apple off VWAP was going to be the next trade regardless. So that's what I just got into. Bitcoin still holding VWAP as well. So I want to give that more of a chance to work. So there's the dip into VWAP. There's the hold of VWAP on Apple. It does have a trend that would be nice if it broke since it making that high, like something along those lines. If it breaks out that trend, I could look for ads above the 234 level as well. So strong name in Apple. I think you have some limited range as to where it can go today. That 234 half and the 235 as well. Coffee trader, AMD is very strong, almost 2%. You don't have to tell me that because it's not bottom wick on AMD, but it feels like bottom wick on AMD because I liked AMD long today. AMD went up and I didn't make money on AMD. Sometimes that's how it is, you know, call it like it is. It's a weird one to have done better on Nvidia than AMD today when AMD, in some sense, kind of did what was expected. But just because it did what you expected to do overall doesn't mean that the individual trades worked out for me. So the read wasn't, I mean, the idea that it was going to be strong, I guess, was there, but the read wasn't right on the entry points today. I think I only had one good entry, and this was this one off VWAP after getting that stop out. We had the one off of VWAP, and then the breakout was no good at 159, and then all of a sudden now it looks almost like smashing there. There was a test underneath VWAP, really. Like it actually got like 60, 70 cents underneath VWAP, and then now it's holding VWAP like an absolute charm. So AMD up 2%, it's incredibly strong, but I can't tell you that I'm up on it today. It was a frustrating one this morning, and that's why I've stayed away from it. It's like to be down on it when it was actually ending up being a good long, it means you don't have a read, and look to something else where the read seems to work out a bit better.
All right, yeah, I mean, yeah, same thing. We have two red stocks today, Google and AMD, both stocks that we talked about on here, both stocks that we liked long, and both stocks that probably should have worked long, but we took that 160 break there on AMD and whatever. I mean, today is a big time trophy day, and we started the day off like digging a grave, basically. Like we were horrible there earlier on today. And, the day just, as Neil was saying, you got to stick with what you're doing. And, we were bad here on Google, man, bad here. Actually, here was bad because we wound up, I'll talk about this trade. This is what's gotten us, like I said, we're having a good day. But this is where we messed up on Google. When we were trying to catch this drop in there, I was like, okay, we're up on Google on the day. It was well up against the market. I wanted it, and then it just didn't stop until 166. When we had written down here, only levels that I liked was a 170 break. So a little silly on that one. So Google today will be my worst stock, well, the worst stock. I can't, like I said, man, I can't talk about having all these great stocks and not tell you about the worst ones. So today, P&L number 1 and 2 to the downside will be AMD and Google for the show. And I'm responsible for both of those. So there it goes. That was bad. But we sat down here and you could see a little bit. So we went long. So there was this news that came in that Meta was working on search. Great. Okay, so they're working on search, nice to know. Google fell right in, but you know where Google fell right into? Right into our lap, I felt like, when it came right into 165. So we were going long, so we got out right there of this long, so that was fine. Fell right into our lap, but then when it broke 165, we got out. So we did take a little bit of an L there, but then we went short, and then this short was actually pretty good, breaking through 165. We got we got dollars short. Down there, right? Then when it broke back up above 165, that's where we went long again. So it's a little, and again, we'll talk about this all the time on the show. I understand completely that it's hard, especially to follow these kind of trades when we're not on and we don't have that other board up. But there's the break of 165 right here. We went long, it came back, we went long again, and now we're in this trade, which is, Neil, again, another $2. Like we just took $2 on Tesla, and now we're in another $2 winner right now with Google. So as we battle on one side here, we watch out for Google just at this top. I feel like this is probably another good out right there. So we only have left on our Tesla position maybe 10%. I'm going to double check it, but I do want to get out. Okay, shoot, we just punched 26s there on Google, so we will take it out there on Google and now get some more out. So now up that 1.2%, but it's another one as today's just another big day. Good day overall. You know, green with what we're trading, and we'll be happy with it. So Tesla, good cash outs there. It is starting to come back. We'll watch out for this 50 period.
Yeah, good look in the market bouncing here. Right back at ES is at VWAP. NASDAQ's not at VWAP, but market bouncing right back. So we said, wait for Apple to get into VWAP. At 2 o'clock, like go wait for it to pull into VWAP. It pulls in. There's your wick. There's your entry on the other side, on the back side, as some people like to say. Or as I like to say, just confirmation. Confirmation that VWAP had held. It just played the 34s. Going to play 34 a quarter, or at least the next level up. Bitcoin just got right back. It might still make that break. I know I keep joking about Bitcoin not going, but it might actually make this breakout in here. I have a 15-minute chart. I thought I had a 15.
Let's go.
I have 2 daily. No, it's a 15-minute chart. So there you go. BTC is, this trend line is from the daily chart, so it's trying to break back above this, but it's like 69,220 is about that high that has to break out. And we're just headed there. I know I keep showing Ibit for anyone that's looking directly at BTC. You know, that top is like I said, 69,220 or so, corresponding with that 39.5 that you were mentioning there, Sean. I like to look at Ibit. That's what I have up, but I wanted to make sure everybody saw that. I did not reload in Mara. As I said, I think it's headed to that $19 level. And then we'll play it by ear because 19's been overhead resistance on Mara. I'm sitting out in front of 1895, be able to grab some. I know MSTR and some of the others are going. I just want to double check MSTR. Yeah, it just spiked up, continues to make fresh highs. It's up 8.5%. Like the crypto names are really gunning for it. And this is without 70,000 going. What's going to happen when 70,000 makes the break? I think it's going to be a nice one for sure. So we only got into Apple on that reload. DJT decided not to pull back into VWAP on its latest consolidation. It might just take out the top instead of giving us any kind of a VWAP retracement on DJT, up now 20%. Pathic in the chat saying, are you going to hold Mara if BTC breaks 70? My plan is to get out of Mara because if we break 70,000 today on Bitcoin, then I like where the resistance is on Mara above 19. So I'm going to come to my chart for a second. Here we go. Like you had a local high just above the 19 level. Maybe you can see this on the 15-minute a little bit better. So I want to be out into this. And then if we're taking out this 1915, the breakout to me is above 1915. Like that's just a dark pool wick. So 1915 is your local high. If we're taking 70,000 out, that's where the breakout is on Mara. This is a trade of Friday high, morning range high, breakout to this resistance. And then you go breakout. The big breakout on Mara is above that 1915. I'm not convinced that happens here today. I think Bitcoin's going to have to take 70,000 for that to be the case on Mara. But I mean, we get that break on 1915. We've been waiting for it for a while. It just hasn't really materialized yet. I think it's a yet. When 70,000 inevitably goes, you're going to get this breakout on Mara. But it's a long into it first, and then the breakout. Take it step by step.
All right, good New Kids song. All right, so we're just getting out some more Palantir here and waiting to see what we're gonna do there. We only have, we have enough to get out of more lots here of Nvidia, but we're gonna wait. I mean, we did get some out there. We just got some out at the 50 period as we battled back a little bit there on Nvidia. So we'll take the opportunity to get out. Remember, the market is still underneath VWAP, which is a little bit like, for me. So trying to do some damage here. Tesla pulling back, but we just took an O there, so that was a good fill for us as well. 175 now in the money there. So in total, $2 in the money here, $1 in the money on Nvidia. So that's $3. Another $2 in the money on Google. So that's $4 now in the money on this. So let's just continue to watch what we're doing. And I think there's more to come. Like that Google fill we just got right there, that was a pretty nice one off these bottoms. So although I am nervous about Google's earnings, I'm getting lighter and lighter on this name. So we are almost out completely of Google. So very, very light position there as I'm here to tell you that. So that's what that is. Palantir, we talked about getting lighter on this one. We are. Tesla, we'll still try to hold as it's trying to break a little bit lower. We did not get to the 50-period moving average. You know, we were really giving this one to you guys. We were, even as we were talking about SMR and all that stuff at 220, I was like, nope, let's just go over to, remember, I was like, now back to trading. So we went over here to Tesla because I wanted to make sure that we got this sort of idea in. You know, a lot of ideas won't work out, but this one really is starting to work right there. It is a cash register now for Tesla, as there it comes right back there into the downside. And we just got some fills down there, 70s, or that one really moved. I don't know, like this is wild. 265.75. Like this trading is not for the weak of heart, that is for sure. And there, like we just got 75s. We look back and it's 50 cents higher. So get your bids out there, baby. And oh boy, this has been again another one. I mean, it's been another huge day here, and happy to be here providing these trades and these trade ideas for everyone, whether or not you take them or not, completely up to you there. But Neil's got the Apple long here. We've got Mara on our mind. We're still looking at
Apple
Ibit.
did the same thing.
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
No, well, like that last little dip, Apple came right in, tagged VWAP, and then you're heading right back higher, but it's still lower highs. Like you got to be wary of this. You could lose VWAP at any minute. It's market trending down. Apple, while up on the day, it is lower highs and lower lows going into VWAP. So yeah, you're getting a bit of a bounce. The other thing that's happening is Bitcoin's going to take that top off like literally any second now.
Let's go.
Here, let me just move that out of the way. So it's about to take out that it's 5 cents away from that high. While that was happening, MSTR attempted to break 255 at the pretty much the moment that you got that press into the high on BTC. It didn't quite get there. I have it breaking by a few pennies in here, but right back at that 55 level. So MSTR is trying to go. I feel as if Mara, if it's going to make that push into 19, it's got to be now, as Ibit is going to take that high any second now. I feel like Mara is going to go further. The question of whether I want to add at 1880. I'm thinking if Bitcoin breaks that 1939.5, it's a double top here on Mara at 18.8. I'm likely to just add on Mara on an 18.8 break, assuming we actually break higher in here. I just want to double check Coinbase. Yeah, Coinbase is well above that 214 area, so it's not really giving me the entry I'd want on Coinbase. But Mara's got a nice little double top. So eyeballs for me are on Ibit as a proxy for looking at spot Bitcoin prices. Although I guess, I mean, in real trading, we do have Bitcoin quotes. Like I'm just adjusted to Ibit.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, great trade on Mara. I think Mara is going to be a good one. I mean, Mara, the benefit of Mara, and we've talked about this, is of course it has that short float. So, you know, as opposed to an Ibit, which is going to happen right now.
It's going to go.
Mara right here. I just want to double check. I thought it was in the 20s, but it could be 19 or something short float. There it is right there. 27 according to Trade Ideas. So don't shoot the messenger. This is what they're showing. And then you also have the 50-period moving average rate, or sorry, the 200 period. We're about to take that out as well. So Mara, yeah, good look there. I definitely like that stock as we continue to watch out for these breakouts. So I just, Tesla, again, man, just, I don't know what is going on with Tesla, but it's coming in quite nicely right now. As there we are on Tesla trying to make something happen. And we are making something happen. Always wish we had held them all, but we did not. Nice move down there for Tesla as it continues to go. So yeah, just be patient is what I'm trying to do now and leave a little bit left for this. We have 10% left. That's it, 10% left. And I am bidding 32s, believe it or not. Like, I just looked down, where am I bidding? And I'm bidding the bid. So, all right, so it just stopped on us. So we're sitting there at 265.32, and there's the fill. No protection there at all. For anybody that's short with me, I don't know if Kyle's here or not, but we'll do this for you, Ozan, as, yeah, it is one of these trades, again, happening for us right now. So far, so good there. It's a huge move for Tesla. It's almost $3 right now to the downside. And again, just really happy that we talked about it. So again, a name that we had talked about here on the show. There goes Tesla downside. It's working out, and it's working pretty good here. So far, so good on TSLA.
Good look on TSLA. I keep saying TSLA, but it's
Ibit we got in.
It's Tesla. So Ibit, I was about to say, Ibit did break that high. So Ibit's taken out the high. I added on Mara through that 18.8 as that's continuing to go. Whether you're looking at Ibit, Mara, Bob Coran, I'm assuming Bob Coran, you meant MSTR that you're in, not MSTX. I'm assuming that's obviously true. MSTR just broke the high of the day as well. So all the crypto names are all breaking out as we speak. led by Ibit here through 39.5, 69 quarter, call it, on Bitcoin is the level that's going. So you're getting a breakout here on almost everything as we go. Apple's not back at VWAP. We'll get over to that one. If it gets back into VWAP, I'm bidding VWAP again on Apple, just to keep that one simple. But looking for that 19 push now. It went 18.5 into 18.8. Now we're looking for 18.8 into 19 on MARA. You're definitely getting that breakout here in Bitcoin to the high side.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, hard going here. This has been, again, like there's Tesla now, like 270 now in the money. Just real good feels here, guys. I hope everybody is definitely enjoying themselves as we trade here. It's making a difference for me. I hope it's making a difference for you guys. I mean, we often get a lot of kind words, but it makes a difference if you guys are trading here with us, and I really do hope that you are taking advantage of some of these plays. So there goes Ibit again, right onto here. I was gonna give it back to trying to just do prior bar again. So this breakout is 39.40. So that's only like 10 cents. So I feel fine staying with some of these things that I've been doing now. So that's about 10 cents. So there we go, man. Boom goes the dynamite. Nice move there. Back up there to the upside. And we've been talking about this, right? And we both say this. You have to trade your own style. So like if you only punched with a amount of shares that 10 cents won't make a difference or whatever, that's fine. But I'm starting to get a little bit more out here on Ibit. We're out of 25% as we just get some 58 fills. So we got 56s, we got 58s. We just told you our stop is going to be like 35 or so. So that'll put us, 14, 35, 16, 17 cents or so with a shot right there. But here we go, man. Shots fired right now into the market, and Bitcoin and Ibit starting to make it sing, guys, right back there to the upside. So yeah, just adding to the fuel to the fire as they, wow, Tesla right now, guys. Tesla, Neil, is now $3.50 right now in the money as the chef is cooking up again here. Wow. Yeah, Tesla, nice move to the downside. Again, we tweeted this out 30 minutes ago. We talked about it live. I'm glad everyone's watching the show because we do this every day. So there it goes again. Let's go Tesla. Huge move to the downside. $3 more right there.
Yeah, great look over there. And my bad, Bob Cran, you are trading the leveraged MSTR. I wasn't sure if you meant. We had a viewer in the chat, MSTX. That is double leveraged? Oh, no, it's 1.75 leverage. That's just weird. Why wouldn't it just be 2x? But it doesn't really matter. So you got to press into 87s here on Mara. So far, that's about it. I'm giving it into prior bar because it's a breakout trade. It's a high of the day breakout when Bitcoin was breaking out. So I got to watch to see, are we holding that 39.5? Are we holding that 69.25? If answer yes, then I want to look for reloads off of support. But the breakout trade, I'm only giving underneath that prior bar low here, underneath that 76. So far, so good. Just double checking back in on Apple. We're only in the two names. Apple, like I said, it's trying to pull back into VWAP. We'll see if it actually gets into VWAP. But it is all about Bitcoin to the upside. If you're looking for anything else that's strong, it's probably just crypto and DJT, to be honest with you. I don't know what else is up there. ARM was super strong early. I don't really see that anymore. DJT doesn't seem to want VWAP. I thought this would be a nice little play if you could get VWAP for the afternoon to push back into the highs on DJT. But it looks like it's only holding at 46. Might just play off, if the even dollars have been good, 47 high, 44 breakout earlier, 45 hold just now, why not a 46? If that's where it wants to trade off of and we're going to head back into the highs, got to be able to get into this one at some point. It's past 3 o'clock, so we are into power hour. I'd expect the high of the day is probably all you're going to get, at least until we get into the end of the day for BJT. I just heard news on Raytheon there. Apparently they're going to get a sale, it looks like, into Switzerland, I believe. So RTX might be on the move. But I want this 46 if we can grab something on DJT. We wanted this afternoon, but we wanted VWAP, and we're not going to get VWAP. So I'll have to play off 46 here, see if I can get some quarters.
Okay, so we got the high of the day. We got 62s there on Ibit. So I actually now have half left. So that's it. So we're going to wait now to see if Ibit can blow up even a little bit more here. But the NASDAQ, remember, I don't love the longs right now. So if anything, we flipped up into that Tesla short. We've been getting out of Nvidia. I mean, we just got some out at 141.10, which is just right here. I mean, that's again where the 50-period moving average is. So let's put another offer there on Nvidia. Our Ibit could still lose, by the way. So we'll wait on that one. So I am also going to put something up a little bit higher on Nvidia. Let's go about 20% into here at 20s. So some again here at 10s or so, and then some again into the 20s. We'll see if we can get something out. We are almost out of, we talked about almost being out of Nvidia, or sorry, out of Google. We'll take this out. We can switch our stop now. Our stop was embarrassing. It was 164.89. So right here, do you know where our long is right now? So our long is 165.06. So this was 16 cents worth of risk, now $2 in the money. So that's why we, have these outs, because it's just like, we gotta take it out when it goes 10, 20x from your risk to reward. I mean, that doesn't happen too often, like options trading over here. All right, so if we break this level, that's VWAP, 166.70. Okay, 166.69. I mean, this is the thing. Like, I'm putting in the orders. Hopefully, everybody can see that and put them in where you guys think you want to go. All right, so we did get that Nvidia fill. So again, that's a pretty good one. Banger on that. That's $1 now in the money on that Nvidia fill. And then after that, not much else happening for me right now. We talked about my least. So first of all, my most red stock will be Google, and my other red name is AMD. So we already tried this 160 break on AMD. We wrote it down on here. I mean, if I write it down on here, we're pretty much going to take it. We did it right there. I thought it had momentum. The thing is, it was pretty sick early, and then it got going, and we were able to take a little bit of profit, but then lost it on the way back when it finally took down 159.20. So we basically held it back into the pre-market high and then lost it on that. It was probably already the 50 period as well by the looks of it. So that's why we got stopped out right there. All right, Tesla, we got filled again, by the way. Wow. So we just got filled down there at 264.40. 264.40, that's $3.30. It's going to come into play again right now. But yeah, so far so good on some of these plays this afternoon. It's been a pretty good afternoon, needless to say. Now you're into DJT. All right.
Well, we'll see.
Something that might move around here a little bit different.
Like, it's trying to go. I mean, like I said, like if you're looking for strength, I mean, you're not going to find it anywhere but Bitcoin. And I mean, from what I'm talking about, what I looked at, I don't want to sit there and pretend that I've seen every single stock in the market. But DJT is strong. Nuclear names are strong. Bitcoin and everything adjacent to it is going to be strong. So if you're looking for some long plays, you want it to be that. Don't get me wrong, Apple holding VWAP is solid, but Apple's just barely holding on to VWAP as we speak. It's given one good bounce play, a couple actually, and into DJT off that 46 level. I did get quarters. Thought I put in a 22 order, but apparently I put in 23. So that's a bit of a keystroke error by me. Usually I get 22s instead of 23s. It doesn't really matter. But you've got resistance up here at 46.75. Wow. So we get to 46.75 and taking a couple legs out. The high of the day sits just above 47. I'm looking for play into the high of the day. And if we break the high, I feel like that's going to be, I think you're asking for a bit much at that point to break out those highs. Just double checking in on Mara. After that break, you did just bounce off the 39.5. So this is the breakout on Bitcoin, and it held on to that 39.5 on the way back in.
Kablam.
But you're essentially just consolidating in here. So you're still going sideways off the re-entry breakout. The early long's done much better than this break of the high of the day, which the early long went like 1%. Now you're just going like a couple of pennies in here on Mara. I want that continuation to get up to that 19. Just hasn't happened yet. But I think we can get there. So they said new traders are going to be Bitcoin.
Oh boy.
Sorry, I said DJT.
Yeah, Bitcoin's a good one.
And we'll look for that 46.5 and then a break into 47. That's the next play in here. It's only about 10 pennies in the money right now. We're risking 20, so looking to get a bit more than that.
Yeah, good talk. Wow. Wow, Kyle Burdett. Like, we're talking 350 now on Tesla. We just took a piece out at 264. I mean, we got 264.01s right there. So that's 370 right there on that trade. So I feel like people that are stuck long on Tesla, I'm not trying to I'm long Tesla myself in the personal account. All right. I don't know. Let's just go market red. It's not, but I mean, the way this Tesla trade is moving around here, it's giving me those kind of feels right now. Yeah, so good trading here, man. Let's just really happy that this Tesla trade is working out this way. You know why? Because it gives me we were long Tesla and really liking the long, and then we've had the ability to flip it over. And that's, you know, we often can put up here, what's trading, a science or an art? You know, anybody can read lines. Can you get in at the right time? You know, I've always thought it was probably 80% art, maybe 20% science. It might even be more art than that. Oh, by the way, okay, so now we're starting to go. Here goes Ibit right now to the upside. So again, let's go. We just punched out some 66s. Let's see if we get this name going. Wow, this has been a day again for us here. Yeah, so okay. Ibit more highs, Tesla more lows. Yeah, I mean, we can't. I feel like I don't even know what to do right now, where to look. I mean, Ibit right now running for us, like running now. Boom, there goes Bitcoin. There it goes. This is on the sticky note, whether or not you're crypto, whether or not whatever you're talking about, there it is right there. As we start to go higher now, Nvidia's $1 in the money. Like, I don't even know. That's coming back in. I mean, what do we do with that one right here as we go? So I'm fine trading all this, but I feel like now we are probably a little bit mixed because we have Google long, Ibit long, Nvidia long, Palantir long, Tesla short. So let's wait to see if that one wants to pay off. But there's Nvidia again. Wow. We are really starting to do this afternoon.
Bitcoin doesn't care about the market going down. That's a good thing here.
Not here, but normally it does, which is why I'm a little bit nervous. But we just took a huge profit on Ibit. So there we go. Go ahead, yeah, with Mara.
No, look, here's the thing. We're getting close to that. I told you guys, 19 is an out for me. It's overhead resistance above 19, and I'm going to stick to that plan. That's sort of been the feeling for a while now, that 19 is out, 19, 15 is breakout on Mara. I'm not automatically going to go into a short because I think you'd be crazy. That's not, whatever. I follow your own rules. If I'm adding to Mara on a breakout because BTC broke 39.5, then I wouldn't reverse short in Mara off that resistance unless BTC came back in. Like, if that's the reason to add off the top, then this would be the reason, like this pulling back and losing that support would be the reason to reverse into a short trade. So I'm just getting out in front of 18, in front of 19 even on Mara with that high break. MSTR, if you're in it, or look, some people are playing the levered names. It actually didn't go. It went about $1, but really not as much as you would expect. Like, it's been squeezing most of the day. So a bit of I'd say relatively muted move for this. It's got a $12, $13 range on the day, and it only went $1 more. So keeping an eye on MSTR. It would be interesting to see how that fares if Ibit were to lose that breakout, although it's doing absolutely fine. DJTs, we said, that's starting to go. It's got the 46.5. My next offer is actually just above that $0.50, and I should also get one in at the 3/4 as well. So, like we said, the strength, if you're going to go long, you got to go long something that is not right now correlated with the market, as I've been saying over and over again. Apple is holding VWAP, but I haven't done any reloads off of VWAP. We went to something a little bit stronger in DJT, and as mentioned, Mara, which is now at 95s. Actually, no, it just printed 94. It's not at 95 yet. An offer at 97, and then we'll see what happens at that 19 even. Looks like it does want to challenge 19 even. So is what it is. Market headed higher. Oh my goodness, Cole O'Brien. I totally forgot about Viking Therapeutics and continuation there. You just said you made 500 shorting VKTX. I thought that was going to continue a breakout. I guess that didn't happen if you just did well on a short trade in Viking. Oh, wow. Yeah, VKTX did not continue that breakout at all. Great runner last week. Today was a different day for Viking. Got to figure out where this one might be a good bounce. Prior high is like all the way down at $70, $70.71 on Viking. And I do like this. I do like the opportunity in Viking. There's lots of chatter. There's lots of chatter that they could be a buyout target because, like, are they going to be like they don't have the cash to be able to pull off going into production. So they might have to be some kind of a takeout target. But that 71 looks like a better level. Good look on that short. I think I'm going to watch that 71 this week on Viking because I do like that for a long. I've been considering getting some in the old long-term account instead of buying more Pfizer, which you can imagine hasn't done much.
Well, I don't have, I mean, it's just more over to the same stuff here. I mean, we're still that 20 cents in the money. I mean, Bitcoin's starting to go. I really like that trade. And again, just Ibit, the reason why we wrote this down at 8:30 today was just I thought this could break, and we would get the break now. We'll take it. 3 o'clock is fine. Doesn't really matter, as Neil was saying there. You know, you trade what's in front of you, and right now looks like we could do pretty good here with what we're looking at with crypto. So far, a nice little break higher here. We'll put Ibit right in the pocket. Ibit will be a good P&L name for us again here today, just off of this break. So it just, you know, you don't need to be in all the trades, you just need to be in the right ones. And I feel like today here again, looks like we're going to be in some of the right ones anyways. That Tesla, thanks Kyle Burdett there again. You know, we talk about it. Real traders can see the real traders. And we know that you've been in the chat for a while and you always looking short right there. I'm not always looking short, that's for sure. Not as much as you are, but right there, I mean, this is a good one here for me on Tesla. It's really turned the day around there. So that's been good for us on there. Other than that, as Neil mentioned, the market is falling down here. So we have been getting out of more and more of our shares right now. I'm going to put an offer there. There we go. We just got 71s right there on Ibit. Because again, if the market falls down, Bitcoin could still run, but let's just take out our profit. That's sort of the plan of action here. And again, like we say, we're going to trade differently. Different targets, different everything. That's Nvidia. I took some out. Oh, I had an offer. So someone said, what are the purples all about? Normally the purples are shorts, but right here we're just getting out of it. So I did have an offer at VWAP, which would have put me short. So we had to cancel that, and now we just take another out right there on VWAP. I don't know what Tesla's going to do, man, but we only had 10% before. Now we have like 5% left. So we just took another fill on Tesla, but looking for lower. All right, Adara, what's up?
This part of the show is brought to you by Firefly Neuroscience. Firefly Neuroscience has taken a bold step in advancing brain health technology. In collaboration with Bright Minds Biosciences, Firefly's innovative AI-powered platform has successfully analyzed data from a groundbreaking phase 1 clinical trial using advanced EEG technology to track brain activity. This data unlocks new potential in treating neurological and mental disorders, reinforcing Firefly's position at the forefront of brain health innovation. As they prepare for phase 2, this partnership signals exciting developments for the future of neuropsychiatric treatments. Firefly Neuroscience, shaping the future of brain health.
Oh, my writing is ass. Like, I just went to Sean. No, I'm just being, but look at this. I wanted to remind myself to go buy VKTX, right? And so I grabbed the sticky note and I'm like, I'm just going to put it up. When I put it on my iPad for long-term stuff, I forget about it because that's usually just stuff for day trading. And then this is me writing VKTX. Like, that clearly looks like a Y.
Yeah, it looks like a Y.
Yeah, and look, I have chicken scratch. I've always had chicken scratch. I can easily admit it, but it's not that I don't know what the symbol is, but it's not every now and then that you write something down and you're like, holy crap, that was terrible. But you know what? People don't have to write anymore. I put it into an iPad. I don't write stuff. You type on a phone. That's my excuse. Airy pages, what makes me bad at it? I'm not a doctor, so I don't have that excuse. I've just always been crap. And you know, the funny thing about it is my brother is like an artist, and like his handwriting is just, it's enough to make you annoyed. It's literally perfect, and he can do like multiple styles. Like he can do anybody's handwriting. He can make up 3 or 4 of his own. He used to do like comics by hand in high school. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. Like that talent definitely didn't get to me. But DJT did get back up to that 3/4 mark, so DJT making that run. Look, it didn't pull into VWAP, but VWAP is a line on a chart. It held 46, and really every even dollar on DJT, I'm not making it up. This is 41 at the bottom. I mean, 42 kind of didn't mean anything. 43 was the breakout. 44 was the dip buy. 45 just held in the afternoon. It just held a higher low at 46. So you know what I'm getting at, which is get out in front of 47. Here for DJT. So it is a late day runner, 20% to the upside. Just want to see what Rumble is doing because we were looking at Rumble. Never mind. I thought Rumble was looking at a breakout on the daily. Like Rumble has barely done anything, and if it's going to go on sympathy, I was looking at this 660 level, which it's not really breaking out. So Rumble's a nothing burger. Just wanted to see if it was going to go along with DJT. So going to look for that 47 out or out in front of that 47 level. Apple's still just barely holding on to VWAP, but DJT was the new one. And then Mara is now at, I mean, it got exactly to 19, so it printed the 97. At this point, I don't see a place to be adding to it. The stop went from underneath the 75, the prior wick, to now break even. And I won't be adding into this 19 level at all on Mara. But yeah, crypto's been going higher. DJT's been going higher, and literally everything else has been going Well, okay, almost everything else has been going lower. They do.
Yeah.
I have my cousins.
Yeah.
Well, my daughter's cousins, my nieces and nephews on my wife's side. They have this thing where if someone says literally in their household, they got to do burpees.
I was thinking about doing that for Ram around here. Every time we hear Ram, someone's got to do something. But that would kill them in the midday.
I'm all for burpee challenges. I've told people.
Yeah. Or literally would hurt us.
Literally will kill me because my daughter says it. See this thing? My daughter says it so much that it's been bleeding for me. Like, I just keep doing it because she says it all the time. And if you look at it, outside of you guys, when I'm talking about the viewers, I talk to my daughter more than any other human being right now. So it is what it is. I'm going to say a lot of the stuff that she says. And I don't mean to say literally all the time, but I'm just always doing it. So let's see what happens in this 19 break. The market, like we said, the market's headed lower. Crypto is headed higher. MSTR is probably going. What else is going to go here? I'll go back to Apple. Like, Apple's it bounced off VWAP and got to 34 and really is not showing tons of signs of strength here. It's almost 3:30, so we'll give you guys an early look on the imbalances, if any, in about 5 minutes. My suspicion is there's not going to be a heck of a lot. It's going to be light on earnings tonight because I think we got a little bit of Ford early, but the big ones are all later on this week. 5 of the 7 Mag 7 names report this week. And that doesn't include AMD. We get AMD as well. We get Coinbase as well. Trust me, the earnings are going to be absolute fire pretty much every single day. But Ford, which I actually hate trading Ford after earnings. I think you want Ford the day after, not the actual, I guess 2 days after, I suppose would be the way to think about it. The day of, I feel like it always kind of sucks.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the thing about it is GM had a nice number there. So expected move right here for Ford,
GM's great.
8%. For Ford. That's going to be a big one. Last time it moved 18%, as you can see on the screen here. So I would say there is a good possibility there for Ford to get going. Late day mover there. After hours mover. We'll see what's going on there. AMC after market close for Ford. Today we had ON. I was going to say on holdings there. ON, the shoes, but that's not what it is. Right there on semi, so up 1.7. So very disappointing considering it did have a 10% handle on it earlier on. Aftermarket close, that's about it, man. Not much else. Waste Management will come out, and Well Tower. What's that?
Look at them. I didn't even notice the moving on off the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, it was green to red to green. Pretty active there. I mean, probably something that they said on the call there. I don't know.
That's sort of the thing. If you're not actually listening to the call or getting immediately like the reasons why, it's hard to have, especially in a name that's not going to be very liquid off the open, all the calls going on. It's hard to have that positive look or that confidence to want to be trading that during the call. That said, you cannot ignore a V-shaped recovery like this and then a hold over VWAP. The stock just doesn't seem to want to move enough. Like, the big breakouts are all above 80. You got to break 75. I think like that's going to be a bit of a thing. All right, here we go. So I said Mara 19. Like I didn't. Like I said, I wasn't shorting Mara at 19. We were just trying to cover out in front of it. And if we lose 1880, which was the reload spot, I guess it's more of like a breakout higher. I feel like reload means that you got it at the same level. So I don't really. It's not really a reload because it's more like an average up. When it broke out. A reload is at the same price area or along the same trend line. This was a breakout of 1880, and we'll be out of those shares if we lose the 1880 area on Mara. DJT, as we said, that was a play into 47. So I got 46.23 out the last at 46.90 there. So just in and out on DJT, but no break of the high of the day. Like I pretty much never had that expectation when volumes are like this into a high break. Like volume here, like yeah, it's got a support level on it, but it's doing dwindling volume. So to think that it's going to break the high of the day when it's still doing dwindling volume, it's a more of a station-to-station play for me. Well, I mean, I'll use the example. Before we go to Adair, I'll give you the example because Tesla's going to be the perfect example for this, right? So see Tesla, see the volume here? On Tesla, let me just do this just to finish the point. Tesla volume relatively increasing as it reverses trend down. So that's more of a hold it and it goes further as you're seeing with Sean in the short trade. but DJT was still dwindling volumes. Therefore, I expect less out of the long, that it won't necessarily break out that high. So anyways, that's just the reason why only looking station to station. Had volume been much better, I might have treated it.
Before we go to Adara, I have to ask Adara a question because there's some talk in here. So I think the Adara indicator was really only on red days because I know she's wearing full green, and today, I mean, there's been pretty much no green. So today will be a failed day, but I think the Adara indicator was really almost batting 1,000% on the red. But I'm going to ask her right now. You might not be able to see it, but she is in all green. I think the indicator is stronger on red days. So I'm going to go ask Adara that right now. So Adara, what is your indicator like on green days? Let's throw it over to Adara.
We are going to take a look here at some green names in the S&P 500. Before I do that, I will answer your question, Sean. It is 100% accurate on red days when I wear the red on red. The green days, I find it kind of depends on the outfit. I have a lot of green outfits. I would say generally it is a little bit less effective. So the first time I did it, we did have the best day on that, I believe the NASDAQ in like 2 years, but it's not 100% accurate. The red is 100% accurate. And for now, we're going to look at these larger movers on the S&P 500. Today to the upside, I like to have a theme for this segment. So today's theme is going to be names making upside moves with ongoing catalysts that have been on watch for a little while. So we have Delta first. Of course, DAL has been on watch since July with that CrowdStrike outage. Now we have, on Friday, they file for a lawsuit here suing CrowdStrike for $500 million. That was the amount that they say was impacted in terms of the 7,000 flights that had to be canceled with that July 19th outage, impacting 1.3 million customers. So DAL to the upside after that suit being filed. Now we have Chipotle on watch. CMG, no catalyst for today, but it's worth noting they actually, of course, have been on watch with the Brian Niccol CEO switch up. Brian Niccol was the CEO of CMG, then got moved over to SBUX. So Chipotle here on watch ahead of their earnings, their first report since Brian Niccol switched over to Starbucks after the close on Tuesday. So CMG earnings watch. And last but not least, BEN. This headline is from last week, but really we've had a lot on watch for Franklin Resources since August. They have about an 11.6% short float. In August, it was announced that the SEC was investigating the company, one of the company's $2 billion segments due to Ken Leach, who was the co-CIO, getting a Wells notice. So some controversy there. Either way, BEN to the upside and actually reporting earnings next week. So this one on watch with a positive, not a positive catalyst, but a nice move up for once here, guys.
I was just saying, we'll have Brian Shannon on tomorrow. You have Michael Noss on tonight. And hopefully Brian was at, no, it was Stocktoberfest. Was it
Stocktoberfest?
Yeah, I think that's where he was last week.
That's a good
and probably this Tuesday. I don't know, maybe he's going to be at like Spook something trading tomorrow, but we'll have to see if we have Brian Shannon on tomorrow. And then we'll go over like any levels that you guys want to talk about tonight. You'll have Michael on and he'll go over some levels with you guys on some stocks as well.
Bitcoin finally going. It's like,
is it? Ibit's not doing anything.
We're almost at 70,000.
Yeah, so Ibit should be going
Dude,
more.
I almost said bro, and that's another thing my daughter keeps saying. The newest thing is bro. I said, sweetheart, I love you. Don't call daddy bro. There's something about that. I'm like, it's just that's a little bit too far. Everything you say is great. But yeah, 69.86 on BTC. 70,000 is happening. So that's probably me just jinxing it. So don't at me if we don't actually break 70,000 today. No, I only say that about Michael because this break of the trend, it's breaking the trend right now, Bitcoin. Without a 70,000 break, although 70,000 is the big psychological level, this is it. And Michael's the one that said we're going to 94, 9,500. Sorry, 100. 1,000. 100. What am I talking about?
I hope so.
If we go to 9,500, yeah, we got other fish to fry at that point. Like we're probably.
It might go to 9,500 at one point, but not soon.
I think those days have gone. I think those days are gone. So with that breakout, notice how Mara won't get past 19. So we just made another fresh high, and Mara still will not break 19 even. It's a bit of a wall, but that's a bottoming tail candle, and then a retest to 19 even. I'm going to give it the chance to hold through. Apple is still just cannot break 234. Holding on the quarter. All it wants to do is go 25 pennies and then do absolutely nothing. So it looks a little bit disappointing. Did I just jinx? That was my fault. It's not my fault. Don't look at me, man. I just said. Okay, so anyways, Yeah, now all of a sudden we're not breaking 70,000 anytime soon, and that's on me. So you guys can go yell and say that Neil jinxed it, but I just got out of Mar in front of 19 because I just saw that reversal candle in Ibit. To me, the reason to get out was going to be a pullback in Ibit. The reason to add was Ibit breaking 39.5, so I see that. I'm getting out. 19 was a target regardless. But it doesn't matter. Look, man, we're going to make, the breakout's going to happen. You see the strength in it. It was been up all day today. It broke out the top today. It's just a healthy consolidation because Bitcoin wants to make bigger moves when the regular markets aren't open. That's just how it works. That's nothing new, and it's not my fault.
No, Neil, don't worry. Nobody actually thinks.
No, I know. I'm just joking. I'm just joking around with that kind of stuff.
Don't.
It's only because I have this weird thing where every single time I pull up an inevitable breakout on a chart live for you guys, it just never seems to go that moment. But it always does eventually go. I'll tell you that.
I mean, if you want to get things that have a good chance of going, I mean, we already talked about the sticky note there. One trade today, 39.50, and that's all you need for Ibit, right? I mean, there we go. We put it in, we take it out. We now have about 15% left, maybe not even. We did just take some out right there at 65, 68 as we get a little bit higher there on Ibit. So far, so good. As we go to the upside right there. We're holding on to Nvidia. That's right here at this level. Again, we might as well take some more out. I was just looking at FXI. That didn't come in today, so kind of like passing on FXI trading right there. Palantir right here. I mean, it's 335. I'm kind of just hovering around right now, waiting for literally the next shoe to drop. I do have some bids here on Tesla. Hopefully that will come in right now into 264. But today's going to be a good day again for us here. So it'll be it'll be a green day, and the market's going to try to stay green as well. But right now, Tesla, I guess the stock that we have the most shares in would be Ibit, just because it's my newest position. Everything else has sort of come out. But I still can think about holding this one. I mean, we can get it into 39.80. That is fine. That should be another out there if it does come up. We already have the high of the day here on Bitcoin, so that's been pretty good. So there's the break. There's the out right now. And now we'll just wait to see where else we could go. Yeah, so far, whoopsies. So far, so good here today as I lose my elbow there. Tesla, Nvidia, Ibit, Google. So those are the names that we're in right now. And Palantir, 4 longs, 1 short. And it's just funny because Tesla right now will be the #1 P&L name. And again, long there, short here. Like, we don't make as much on the short because we had way more shares long and many more opportunities. But I think I would have averaged into this, even if it came up to this area. I like the 268. I mean, right here, this short, that's $3.30 in the money. Our stop was 268. So it's 30 cents. So this is 10 to 1 right there right now, but we only have 5% left. So okay, that's about it. 337. We are waiting to see if there is going to be any sort of imbalances that make the moves here.
Just Lumen.
Lumen, that could be another, maybe an index action. I don't know. Ford right there, 900,000. That's an earnings play. And then Walmart with a big sell as well, over nearly 1 million shares, over 1 million shares total to sell in Walmart there. So.
Yeah, Walmart. That's another good one, Walmart. But we had a super chat here. Thank you, Rohit, for the super chat. Saying, hi, AMD review. Did not trade AMD since the morning. As we mentioned in the early rundown, we were going, actually, you know what? AMD wasn't even on the rundown. We just kind of talked about it anyways because it was a morning trade. No, AMD is up 2 points today. It's strong. The read, while the read was going long on it today, like the way I see it, I liked 2 things long on my 1 and 2, and it was AMD and it was Google, and those are my 2 red stocks today. That said, we're able to limit the losses because I just stepped away from it. Like, it was long opportunities, but just never anything that was incredibly clean except for like this breakaway 158.5. So there's 158.5, resistance, break, support 158.5. I feel like this is the over-under level. I do like what I'm seeing on the daily chart here for AMD. Now remember, you report this week. You're going to report tomorrow on AMD aftermarket. I mean, it should be, tomorrow aftermarket. You're going to get their report. But I like what I'm seeing overall. Higher lows into a hold of that 50. I think this one's got room to work. I know they're expensive, so they're not going to be able to afford to have a miss. And they don't really fall into either one of those buckets, the obvious buckets of a stock which is already at the high And those have tended to be pulling back even on a good reports. And the ones that were working into their lows, and those have been doing bounces. It kind of sits right in the middle on AMD. So I'm ambiguous in terms of how I want to trade it post earnings on Wednesday. I'm just all about the trend. And as long as it can give me the level to play off of, I can go over under. Right now, at least until we get those earnings, I feel like this 158.50 is going to be it for me tomorrow. You can see there was a lick grab underneath that price, Friday's high, and then it's held the rest of the day here. So Rohit, I'm going to look to be bullish on AMD as long as we're over that number going in again tomorrow, up 2 points. It's been trying to break this out for quite some time, a couple of weeks in here. And there's a decent gap up that you can still do some damage before we get that earnings report, which clearly is going to change everything. But that's the thing about day trading. You'll worry about the rest later. Really? So Bitcoin pulls back, and Mara actually takes out that high at 19. So Mara ends up continuing to go. I guess it doesn't really matter. The Bitcoin pull back. Mara just continues to go higher. I wonder if it's alone here. MSTR. MSTR is right at the high of the day. So you have the miners at the highs. You have Mara continuing to break out that high. Coinbase reports later this week. They're breaking out afternoon highs. We're not talking about the high of the day on Coinbase. Although I'm going to make an argument that while Coinbase is not at the high of the day, the way that it traded above about $216 this morning, there was essentially no buying up there. Like, it tried to go higher, and then when it made this break on the initial push up, this sell came in one shot. And it went from being up at 217.5, and then it was instantly at 214, almost instantly. It was very, very rapid the way it pulled back in. So this is a lot of strength at Coinbase above 217, as far as I'm concerned. DJT, just going to double check. We got out at 40, in front of 47 on that 46.23 long. Looks like it just battled through 47 briefly before pulling back in here. No VWAP test, ultimately. Didn't really retest 46 in here. But DJT, another strong one, up 20%. Hey, I mean, the longs have been nuclear, DJT, and anything Bitcoin related this afternoon. That's been pretty much it.
Someone who has been called my son a few times here will be here this week. Raider Trader will be in the building very, very soon, coming, I believe, on Wednesday. So he'll be here to celebrate Halloween and have some segments and answer some questions. Sit right here with us, hopefully, either on the desk or wherever. We'll figure it all out with Andrew. So we're really excited to have him come through at Andrew Raider, at Raider Trader. I think it's at Raider Trader 101 on X, and then at Raider Trader just on the Instagram machine there as well. So yeah, that should be a lot of fun. So we'll have him come through. That should be a lot of fun. All right, just looking here, it's 342. Not doing too much else here. We'll spin it again right here on Ibit as more highs coming. Hopefully, we'll take some out right here at 75s. It just broke higher. I'm just not really trying to do anything too fancy if we get back up here to the high, because now that we've broken out on crypto, this is just a level that we had marked down at 830, 39.50. So we went long there. We knew it was associated with a break into 70,000. So if that was to happen, we knew we liked that stock. And because Ibit, again, is going to represent, hopefully, spot BTC, I haven't done the math to say what level is 70,000, but right there. Apparently GME is still going right now. I thought we had like a report of that they were supposed to report on one day and then they weren't, and then back and forth and yada yada. So I don't know what their reporting structure looks like for GME. Let me just call it up here and just to see what's going on. We had looked at it. I thought it was like sub 12 or something. Yeah, there it is. The short float is only 9. I don't know why I said sub 12. I thought it was 11 something. But there it is right there. GME reporting date.
That's not.
Well, it wouldn't be December 4th.
No, that can't be right.
I thought we looked at this before, and it was really weird as well.
I'm going to try to find it.
Maybe ADRs, she's at the desk there. If you could find out if there is another source letting us know when GameStop is reporting, because there it goes up 9.5%. Maybe they've delayed earnings. Maybe they've, and it's just.
FinViz has 25% short float.
Right. So, yeah, so there's a bunch of misinformation, I would think, then. Right.
That's a pretty decent difference.
Let's just hold on. I mean, I know there's a lot of traders looking at GME. So I don't want to give misinformation. We'll find out more. Let's just see what's going on with, first of all, we'll hit this because there goes the apes. They're not trading AMC though, although he's on an AMC rocket right there. It's right here, GME, so up 10% huge moves up. I mean, coinciding maybe with moves in DJT possibly, but it looks like 25 and change is where it wants to lay its head. So we'll watch out for GameStop in and around that neighbor.
So I actually see December 4th as well. So that might be right.
Yeah, it's but that means we've missed one.
Yeah, exactly. That's.
So I don't know because unless people in the chat know that maybe they just reported and we missed it again. So okay, at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. So we'll just continue to watch it. All right, Google right here. Trying to go upside as well. We already have an out if it breaks through VWAP. So with only 5 minutes to go, I'm light on everything. I talked about that. The only position that we have with any concern or whatever is our Ibit position because we had just put it on and we've scaled it out as we come right back up here into the top side of this trade. So far so good right now, man. And then damn, Daniel, what exactly is happening? And I say that to Juan Velasco there in the chat. All of you trying to make some real money right there. There's Tesla. $5 now. So we thought we were doing pretty good on the upside of Tesla right here. But wow, man, no stress law on the short as that is just booming right there to the downside again. Maybe worth just covering this. I mean, where else are you going to find it? We just get like this is 450 clean downside. Doesn't even think about breaking the 50-period moving average. And I sometimes will stay back and talk to Obi, and I'll always say like, why in the heck do we get out? And I just said to Wayne, it's like we're so worried about minimizing the losses, we're never really worried about maximizing the gains. You know, and I think that like here on Tesla is a perfect example. We could say, oh, I got out here because I wanted to minimize the losses, but then I didn't hold anything for the gains. I'm trying to hold stuff more, but that's, to me, that's just psychological. It's like, you know, you got to have your outs and your targets. And if you're trading, like I said, today's a trophy day. What we're doing is working. But at the end of the day, it could be like the World Series. And it's just, we got to wait and be patient for trades. Not every day are we going to obviously sit here and have $5 winners like this, but today we do. So we're trying to take advantage of it a little bit here into the close with only 3 minutes left right now. Tesla 450, Palantir 21 cents. Like overall right now we have $8 in the money on these trades. So we are trying to do a little bit of what we preach here, practice what we preach with trying to hold some of these. And it's been working out okay. But again, with 350 right around the corner, maybe it's time to get out.
So, but just a couple of things I did get out when break even hit on Apple. It couldn't go further. I mean, it bounced off VWAP, so that was good, but it only went from the 3/4 mark to 34s. And even if it bounces again, that's just not much of a move. And Mara did actually continue, oddly enough. Mara broke 19. So despite the fact that Bitcoin didn't break 70,000 and actually putting in a lower high as we speak, Mara just continued to go. That said, you know, I was getting out in front of 19 anyways, a little bit late for a breakout trade. Mara has been relatively weak, so it doesn't always follow the miners in a general sense don't always follow. They haven't been nearly as strong as Bitcoin since the halving. I'm not telling anybody, most people, something that they wouldn't know, but this is suddenly looking very, very strong. I mean, tomorrow, you gotta be, well, I shouldn't say what anyone else has to do, but if we're holding 19 tomorrow, I gotta look for longs. If this 70,000 is now happening and we're getting that breakout, remember how some of these miners have done absolutely nothing and have some catch up to do, and they have a short float as well. So might have underestimated how far Mara was going to go today, getting through that 19. I'm assuming MSTR. Mohammed in the chat just saying MSTR. Yeah, it went all the way to 59. So that 55 broke, gave you another like 1.5% there. MSTR up 10% today. 10% on MSTR. We're not split adjusted on the chart, so the daily chart's going to be a bit off. But really, this has gone $50 in essentially a trading week, almost a trading week, and just continues to squeeze higher and higher and higher. I feel like there's some people hedged. And I was talking about this with Wayne and I were talking about this. Some people that are probably hedged and having some of those hedged blow out, shorting MSTR during this move. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. I make no promises, but 70,000 is looming for a breakout, and I'm going to be looking at crypto names long if that's going to be the case, 100%. 1 minute to go on the imbalances. Nick Dubs, thanks for the super chat. Quick thoughts on TMDX going into earnings. Great growth stock, 19% implied move. Let me see if we can quickly get there. 1 minute to the imbalances. I'm not going to put anything new on anyways. So TMDX, not one that I've been in. I'm assuming this is like a pharmaceutical name. Transmedics Group. I guess that wasn't a bad guess in there. Ooh, rough day today after breakout. But, I mean, yeah, that's a rough-looking one here. It's trying to break a downward trend in here. Yeah, this one, I don't know, they're reporting tonight. I don't know anything about them. That's not a very good-looking chart, but I like the 200-period hold. At least it gives you an obvious area to get out of if it loses support here, because that is a hefty gap into the downside. And those things can absolutely gap. That's a bit of a dangerous one, and not one that I'm very familiar with, but I don't love that daily chart on TMDX. If it'll hold that 200-period moving average, looks good. It was just Lumen on the imbalances for the early look and pretty much nothing else. And what do we got going on here? Nvidia sell 2 million. That's pretty much, I don't know what LQD is. That doesn't really matter. Joby, 960,000 to the buy side. Who cares? Walmart's a sell of 700,000. SMCI is a buy of 700,000. That's not that small. Really nothing else. Nvidia is the big one of that 2 million sell side on NVDA. More or less nothing burger, no other big cap tech names. There you can see Nvidia, slight pullback off of VWAP, and that's about it. So imbalance is kind of a nothing burger, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, we have Nvidia and we're just ho-humming it. We have like 2 to 5% left of all of these positions. So our stop orders are already in. Yeah, make sure you scan that e-signal right there. Look, I use e-signal for everything here. I mean, here's my XPI chart. You know, different things that we look at all the time here. Very smooth. You have the watermark in the back. I've been using e-signal for over 22 years right here trading prop. I like all the scanners. I mean, you can see here with this ad that's floating right there. A lot of opportunities, hot lists, watch lists, live market data. That's part of the best part there. No matter what market you're trading, e-signal probably can get you that entitlement. So it's an entitlement-based market system. So if you want to trade Hong Kong, you pay for it, you get the quotes, and they're right there live. So that's the best thing for me, the live quotes, the reliability, the back testing, everything is right there. Make sure you go find it all over the place. Facebook, Twitter, you can share your charts. You can even execute your trades. You can link your broker account. Now you can do that for a lot of charting, but that's something that's nice about e-signal. So we don't link it to our trading here.
It can be done,
but not to your trading, I don't think. Well, maybe if
no, sorry,
using the API, maybe.
Well, physically, it's possible, but I can tell you, only because I know that it had been done in the past. I don't know, it was years ago that I know a trader actually was able to do it, so I probably shouldn't. I just know it did happen, that's all I'm going to say, but it's a fantastic platform. The back testing and the forward testing is very important. I know this floor has used it for a couple of strategies, specifically one that worked really well for us in Europe that we couldn't have done without e-signal, quite frankly. So Nvidia with that sell imbalance, the only thing, I mean, the market's going to the downside. Apple's kind of losing VWAP as well. Just looking at Bitcoin. Look, Bitcoin's going to hold that. Okay, it's not above 70,000, but it's going to hold that breakout above that $69,000 level. So that looks pretty good. But it is Nvidia going back into the red. It was a great bounce play that looks like it just lost VWAP. I want to double check on AMD. I'd love AMD. It's weird. So Nvidia, you saw Nvidia just now. AMD going to end up pressing the highs. So AMD looking very strong. Obviously, that looks like a pretty good one here. AMD continuing to look higher. Remember, they report aftermarket tomorrow, so all of this relative strength could completely go out the window after the bell tomorrow. But at least for one more day, I'm going to be looking for longs in AMD. I just have to execute better on those longs. It's just that simple. We like the AMD long. AMD was relatively strong. As I said, did not have a good day on AMD. Probably one or two too many trades. Like I went 1 for 4 trading AMD today. And at the time, they all looked good. But really, only one of them was a good entry. The breakout of the 160, that's fine. I'm probably going to take that every single time, and it was a tight stop. But some of the dip buys on weakness didn't need to happen. Wait for it to show you the bottom, and then engage. And catch it after it bounces. Now I sound like Jean-Luc Picard.
Yeah, yeah, or like what we did on Tesla. I mean, I feel like that was one here. We had to wait, like to be able to find this bottom, it first has to make it. You know, we thought we were getting it right there at 2. I'm just trying to review some of the trades here. But we can go in to see what's moving around. So, okay, just real quick. We got out of Nvidia there as it broke lower on that sell imbalance. We had 2% left. We talked about that. Ibit, I mean, I might as well just get out now. There's really no cancel all my offers, put an offer out there at 67, see if it gets picked up right there and get out of Ibit for, again, going to be a big stock. The only two red names are the same for me, Google and AMD. Those are the only two names that I have red on board there. And these are both names that were sticky note names, so that kind of sucks. But the only one that we should have been in was that AMD, because we had AMD 160 break, and I said up to 161. So for me, losing $1 there on AMD, kind of par for the course. Like we said, we didn't really get hit on the stock. It's a light loss there for AMD. Like, just for example, we lost a third on AMD what we made on Nvidia. And although Nvidia looks sloppy, I'm just letting you know this is that's what it is, right? And so, like, in and out of AMD real early, right there, and then make 3 times more on Nvidia. And so there it goes, man. I mean, it's just trading. That's what it is. My daughter just sent me. She's wearing her Taylor's boyfriend shirt. So she's a Miami Dolphins fan, but she has eye patches on right now.
I'm like,
getting ready to go. It's a big hockey weekend. All right, so Ford, VFC, that was the other one there. VF Corp coming out, and Waste Management, 4:30. So not too much today, but the bangers sort of start tomorrow, which we're really excited to bring.
AM Dizzle, baby.
Yeah, AM. Not only that, there's many stocks.
Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah, there's Alphabet tomorrow as well. I mean, Alphabet, I think, is arguably more important, obviously, than AMD. All right, so we'll wait there. There goes Tesla right now, near the day's low, man. This is no more appropriate. Has there been a time to say diamond hands? Because we have this the whole afternoon, holding it right into the close. 5 minutes left. Tesla right there into that close. So, yeah, Neil's going to have... you're going to have Michael.
We'll have Michael Noss. Darren's going to be joining me on the desk here, and we'll have the Noss boss coming through. We'll get to actually talk about Bitcoin making some real moves. DJ, so 2 things before I go to the desk, and leave you guys. DJT going, and GameStop broke the high of the day as well. So, hey, there were 3 places you could be long. They involved squeeze names. They involved crypto. And, well, there was multiple squeeze names, but good luck. Tesla looks like it's going to close the lows. The market's going to close on the lows.
Huge.
But it's only the red that works for ADR, as we've proven here today. The green, I guess it
still has some winning properties to it, apparently. But
oh, it does? Okay.
Yeah, not as
well.
much.
Not today, it doesn't.
Yeah,
not today, it doesn't.
All right, I'm going to cancel all the stop orders now, and then just put one in left for Tesla. How about 263.51? All right, if it breaks higher than that, we'll get out of that one. Tesla's the only trade that we have left on board. Again, thank you so much to everybody. Adara, obviously, Sharif there, Joe, who was crushing it for us earlier on the midday. We want to thank Fabian, Ramin, who's over there. Bears versus Bulls, we can't do it without you. We still have 3 minutes to go, so we can continue to watch Tesla. Shout out to anybody that is short right now. Whew, man, we had a couple moments there today. McDonald's Q3. When does McDonald's? Hold on a second. So McDonald's actually over the weekend, I was speaking about this with my father because he was like, what's going on with McDonald's? He knew what was going on, but he wanted to know my opinion on that, just like he was asking me about Costco a little while back as well. We used to always talk about Costco. Hold on a second. So there was there was 26 more cases when McDonald's sort of thought that they had that on wraps. Yeah, so up today, but a little bit of a down push there. October 29th, so they are tomorrow morning. So for me, it's a long. McDonald's only made this drop down because of that E. coli outbreak, which I know is really bad. There's no doubt about that, but let's just pretend it gets contained. Then what are we even doing down here? So you're going to get a little bit of an earnings. I don't know if we want to go long right now, but I would say if tomorrow's earnings are bad, then I could see easily 280 here for MCD reporting there tomorrow morning in the pre-market. So wait for McDonald's earnings. I think it's kind of fool's gold there to trade a name into earnings. The only thing that we did for Tesla was say, I really like the long. And it was an easy one for me because it had based out there. The problem is you can't get out if you're wrong. So that's where you just say, thank you for Tesla. Thank you for making that move up. Probably worth getting some out. But at the end of the day, if you gap down, you're stuck. So you got to be careful trying to make calls into earnings. I think AMD is baby Nvidia to some extent. So I could see AMD having a nice report there tomorrow after hours. I think the long tomorrow should be played as well. It's why it was our number 2 idea, Tesla number 1, just because I feel like momentum in AMD will be there. It's just the problem today was It just gave it up too easy, and then there was the bottom. Only 1 minute left now. Again, thanks. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, no matter what you're doing today. DJT and GameStop. Quick little looks at these here into the close. There it is, man. DJT, new highs. I was saying that this name has a 50 handle on it, maximum 52. So for me, watch out for Donald J. Now, I could also say something here about GameStop. I think, and look, I don't have the following, obviously, that anybody that could move a stock would have. But like my theory would be some of the Donald Trump traders out of there into GameStop. That's potentially one of the next plays there for GME. So just watch out. I don't know why it's going up here. We've looked for it. GameStop continues to move higher. All right, here we go, man. It's the countdown. We are now on with only 10 seconds ago. We actually hit it pretty much on time there. So thanks, Adara. It looks like the NASDAQ will be flat. So still there for us today. 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, thank you, Adara, as well. Look, DJT, someone just put it for a joke there, I guess, in the chat. DJT heading to 100. You're not wrong. I mean, you could be wrong, but there is a possibility that this thing breaks, and then with a short float of 20+ percentage points and potentially no liquidity here, we've seen many stocks do many crazy things after hours. So I don't want to say that it's a wild prediction, call a stock going up 120%. But at the same time, wilder things have happened. DJT, watch out. Look, it's 4 o'clock. I've already said all the thank yous, so I'm not going to do it again. But I do want to thank the audience. If you're here with us, thank you so much. Over 4,000 or 5,000 will stick around here after hours as well. 478,000 subscribers. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. We're back tomorrow. It's 4:01. From everybody here at Trader TV Live, thank you. We couldn't do it without you. It's Adara, it's Neil, it's your market recap show, and it starts now.
Thank you very much there, Sean, as I fix the poppy that will not stay on my shirt like this. It's trying to pop off like you see over in BTC and GameStop and everything else that was strong today, which, got to be honest with you, it wasn't a heck of a lot. It wasn't a lot of things that were strong going into the close. You saw the drip there on Tesla, and I say drip, it was more like a faucet. Finally going to the downside. It's obviously a strong couple of days there for Tesla post earnings, but today in the afternoon, really, one of the big stories was going to be Bitcoin breaking out that high if you're looking for some green in there. GameStop, just to double check on it for everybody here, because it did make that late break, as Sean was referring to. You're getting a little bit of continuation. And yeah, it was a big mover, but it wasn't the only thing that was showing strength. I mean, you can't ignore what happened here late in Ibit, MSTR, Mara, all of those names. I mean, you can throw Riot in there, whatever you happen to be looking at. They all made some big breakouts. You got to almost that 70,000. I actually saw someone in the chat mentioning that on Coinbase, they saw a 70,000 print. I can only tell you that on our platform, I looked at Binance, I didn't see 70,000 print. I looked at, I also looked on our quote, I didn't see 70,000 print, but we got pretty darn close to it as far as I'm concerned. So you got a big move over there in Ibit. You had a big move there in Mar late in the day, although it's giving back. Look at that trend to the upside since it broke that high of the day. Just straight trend, add through 1880. And then you look at MSTR, absolutely booming most of the day here, a squeeze name as well. Now we're expecting earnings on Ford at 405. We're expecting VFC at 405 as well. Waste Management's not till right at the end at 430. So, well, the Michael Burry name's going to have to wait, although I think Michael Burry's out of that one, to be honest with you, Dara. So,
I think so.
You let us know when Ford does come on through. But today, you wore the green. Mm-hmm. Some things were green.
Yes.
So maybe we'll have to start a new correlation. So here's my first question. Are you in any crypto? First of all, you aren't?
No.
Okay, I was going to say, from now on, you can only wear green, and that'll mean that you think crypto's going to do well. Like Bitcoin's going to go up when you wear the green. So let's start and just pretend that we're one.
Also the IWM.
Oh, the Russell. That can work. I'm down with that. So the green can mean either one of those two things. The red, for now, has been a bit of a tail. And I saw the Piper in the chat wants you to wear a red dress tomorrow. Why does anybody want down in the market?
A lot of people were asking me for red. A lot of people were asking me not to wear red. The truth is, you know what, guys, I own more green than I own red. I own the one red outfit. The red outfit tends to be statistically correlated a lot stronger for whatever reason. But you know what? I will wear whatever I happen to wear that is clean. That's going to be the truth of it. It's the long and short of it. Pun kind of intended.
Exactly.
That's really, it's just the same way anybody else gets dressed. It is what it is.
It's always just a little bit of fun.
It is fun, but.
It is just a little bit of fun that we like to have around here. But I'm telling you, there's plenty to go over that was strong. Look, you don't have to lament about what's going on. We'll talk about Bitcoin and some other things with Michael Noss. But I mean, you had the solar names that were strong. Chinese ADRs were strong in there today, for sure. Uranium stocks were up. I didn't even group those. We're going to skip by TAN because, to be honest with you, TAN up 2.4% when you pull up the daily chart. Blah, that needs to be much more than a couple of points to get anybody excited. But I'll tell you right now, uranium, let's go up, baby, because we're up another 2.5%. You broke almost, okay, not quite. You almost broke out the top at the end of the day. So it almost closed pretty much right at those highs. But on the daily, you're getting a nice consolidated bounce, looking for press back into the highs on the daily with a bit of a false breakout on URA. And you're now getting some continued strength on through. And the bigger names are the SMRs of the world. 19% today for SMR. You had that Oklo stock as well. Oklo, 27% up for OKLO. So very strong moves. NNE up about 13% there. So a lot of strength overall in those nuclear names. The other thing that you got to watch out for, we mentioned some strength over there in China. FXI with a couple of points. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't look that great because of the hefty pullback that the Chinese names have had in a general sense, but the strength today was very clear. Breakout, continuation, close on a bull flag when it comes to FXI. So there was a lot of strength if you could find it in the market. You're going to have the financials to the upside, pretty much strong trending throughout the day on XLF. And if you look at this on the daily, again, healthy pullback on the daily, consolidating off those tops. There is a small name that's reporting. I don't know if we have Ford yet, because they should be.
I'm not seeing Ford yet.
I mean, Ford's going, so Ford's got to be out. And believe it or not, Ford has life. The F-150 maker is up now 6.5 points. Now, I haven't seen the numbers either on Ford, but they must be out because it just powered to the upside here. Powertrain, let's go. So 1180, the current high on Ford, as it is making a bit of a move. As you can see on the daily chart, bit of a local breakout past 1140. Little bit of a dipsy due to the downside. So we'll zoom in so it looks a little bit better. See how much better it looks when you zoom in on Ford? Now you just have a break of 1140 and room to the upside. When I zoom out on Ford, what you have is a really bad looking chart that's catching a bit of a bottom. So Ford to the upside. Let's get going here. Looking pretty good. Bears versus Bulls. Shout out to you. Ford, Lincoln, Mercury from Waterworld. Yeah, that's one of those movies where I hate the fact that I can get that reference because Ford. It's one of the worst movies out there. What are the numbers here for Ford?
They beat here for Q3 across the board. Adjusted earnings of 49 cents per share versus estimates of 47 cents per share. Sales of $46.2 billion, above estimates of $41.88 billion. I'll read that sales number again because, yes, you heard it right. Sales of $46.2 billion versus estimates of $41.8 billion. That is an almost $5 billion beat for Ford sales. They also, again, beat for adjusted earnings per share. VFC I'm seeing reported as well, but I'm not seeing the numbers yet. Cadence Design also reported they beat across the board for sales and EPS, so I'll read those in the meantime. Sales here of $1.22 billion versus $1.18 billion expected. Earnings of $1.64 per share versus $1.44 expected for CDNS. We are still waiting. I have BFC out. I just don't have how it compares there with his estimates. And the way it's reported is I'm going to wait here to see if I have the
Well, so Ford had that massive beat on the revenue number, and it was going, everything was swimmingly on Ford, and then we lost a bit. So now you're down underneath $11 as quickly as it went up. There must be something to the guide here. Okay. What do we have going on Ford? Because Ford just broke back down. Now it's red on the session.
I'm seeing, okay, so I saw this circulated on Twitter. Now it says the tweet doesn't exist, so I'm unsure. I don't want to read anything that I'm not sure about. but I'm seeing some things here about their adjusted EBITDA guidance. Again, I want to wait till I know that this is accurate, so I'm not going to read anything here. But okay, here we go. We have the number actually here. So they're seeing fiscal adjusted EBITDA here of 10 billion. Initially here saw 10 billion to 12 billion versus the estimates of 10.63 billion. So it looks like they have slightly lower than expected Ibit estimates. They're also forecasting their Ford Blue Ibit of $5 billion. Initially here, the forecast was 6 billion to 6.5 billion. So it looks like lower than expected Ibit for Ford or for their fiscal year and for Ford Blue.
Yeah, and it's not looking very good at all. As we said, it went from green to red. That VFC, which we were just talking about, it did move to the upside. It's pulling right back in after a little bit of a break. So 1750 break on VFC. This is worth a look because it's a decent short flow, 12% short flow on VFC, 6 days to cover on VFC. It did just make a rather distinct pullback on the daily. So it's got a little bit of a base that it could break away from. So that should be worth watching tomorrow. But yuckity yuck when it comes to Ford and that price action, you'd like to see it hold above 11. Do we have more updates here?
We do have some more here. So they're also providing updates here for they're apparently seeing their fiscal year, the Ford Model E. They're seeing an EBIT loss of $5 billion for Model E. They're also here forecasting CapEx for fiscal 2024 between 8 billion and 8.5 billion. So that's actually smaller than their initial guidance of 8.8 billion to 9 billion. It's also, though, within the midpoint there of their estimate, 8.39 billion. So lowering actually on the top end of their CapEx estimate, still, though, widely above estimates of 8.39 billion.
We got to get on the blockchains in here, and we got to get, I'm telling you, can we zoom this in? I'm going to read out some of these anyways. I'm not going to move it because we're going to zoom in. What a coincidence. Ford broke down. I do the joke drums for that one, but you got it absolutely right. We have ADR, might be more affordable now, the stock price as well. So there you go. Keep the puns coming, but you got to try to have a little bit of fun with it when the stock wants to only be fun for the shorts. We got Red Eye Jedi, Ford equals found on roadside dead. Okay, that's a little morbid. I know it's down, and I know the chart doesn't look very good, and it's not been a very good stock. But how about this? What's going on with, is GM going to have any sympathy here? Yeah, GM with a slight move down. How about just to make everyone feel a little bit more rosy inside? This is what a chart is supposed to look like, everybody. That's General Motors. There's the spike after earnings. So when you have a choice between two names in a similar sector and you don't know anything about either one of them, it's not hard to tell which one is trending up and which one is doing absolutely nothing. This one's trending up. I'm going to actually get, when Michael Noss comes on here, we'll get his expert opinion on which one of those two charts he thinks is better as well.
Yeah.
But do we have any more updates before?
I want to do VF earnings.
Yeah, let's get to VF before we go to Michael.
Perfect. Yeah, don't want to keep Michael waiting here, but VF beating here across the board. They have adjusted earnings of 60 cents per share for Q2 2025, so they're a bit ahead of the curve here, above estimates of 37 cents. So 60 cents versus 37 expected. Sales of 2.8 billion versus estimates of 2.7 billion. So VFC beating across the board. Now their revenue guidance was a little bit weaker for Q3 2025. They're guiding between 2.7 billion and 2.75 billion versus estimates of 2.96 billion, but they did beat for top and bottom line for fiscal Q2 2025.
And those are impressive numbers, and maybe that's why it's up double digits after market. That's why ADR goes over it, so we don't have to be depressed by that Ford chart.
Yeah.
So we get a little upside action on VFC. Waste management not till 4. We're not expecting till 4:30, but we are expecting our friend extraordinaire of the show. We talked to Mr. Noss this morning. And since then, a little BTC broke out of that channel. I'm looking forward to discussing that with Mr. Noss. Trader Talk now. Michael, it feels like forever ago that we were just, that we had you on. No, we had you on before that channel resistance break and that lower trend line on BTC. It made a run at it here in the afternoon without taking 70,000. With lots happening in the market. Welcome, but I'm going to start off by putting you on the spot. And this is like only looking at it's a hard one, Michael. I'm teeing it up and I'm going to delay a little bit here because it's a really difficult question. You only get to look at a daily chart. Ford or GM?
GM. I was actually in the green room. I was the second you said Ford selling off there. I went and I looked at Tesla. I went and I looked at GM, and yeah, not a stock that I trade often, GM, but that's a nice looking little move. It had a great earnings pop here, and it just nice, like 4 days or so down. Not really trying to retrace that bar very much, holding up pretty high against the top end of that range. And yeah, so I always get ideas when I'm sitting in the green room waiting, and when I'm watching you guys on the TV too, just because they're just names that I don't generally look at, and sometimes they won't hit my scans, so I may not notice them. But yeah, it's just worthwhile keying up, and then you compare that to Ford. And this thing's just been, I think this is probably the last earnings report that gap down sold off. So I don't think it should really shock anyone that that's going to continue.
Yeah, I mean, the trend is ultimately your friend. Like, you just try to keep things simple. I was talking tongue-in-cheek. That was obviously not a difficult question, but I want to ask you about this VFC because, you've mentioned a few things about short float and of course, days to cover. And now you've got something. It's 6 days to cover, 12% short, or just underneath 12% short. Now you've got an earnings bounce, and Nadera just went over the fundamentals for anyone that's into it. And it also fell into that bucket of something which was pulling back. So when I look at this here, I feel like this just did a trend break, not really consolidation, a fall under the 50-period moving average. It wasn't a consolidation. And now you could be gapping into like that prior high. This might have trapped some new shorts is what it looks like here. Is this the kind of thing that you would start tracking it, or do you not like things right after earnings? What would be your look here? And not to put you on the spot, but I mean, it's got the short float. It's making a nice little bounce play here, and it looks spicy for a day trade tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe for a shorter term trade. I've got the chart up here and I zoomed out a fair bit. So it's starting to put in some interesting look. Obviously, down a lot from the $60 that it was at its high. But right, this is starting to look a little bit like that smiley face, a little bit of a rounded bottom here. It stopped going down in 2023, about mid-2023, and it's just kind of been going sideways ever since. I think this resistance overhead is really what you got to keep an eye on. That's probably, $21, $22 a share. If we can get above that, then maybe for a longer term look, and this might be that whole stage one turning into stage two. Now, it was a $100 stock that went all the way down to 10. So depending on where these shorts are, they might not be that super nervous. But if it does start to reverse and starts to get over this prior resistance zone right here, it could be an interesting shot because, at least you know where you're wrong. If it were to come back down to 15 or so, you're probably wrong. It's time to get out. So if you're getting in at 20, you're risking to 15, it's $5 a share. If this thing starts to recover and maybe not all the way back to 100, but even if it got to 30, should probably be around this area, that's still a 2-to-1 risk reward. So there's some things to look at there for sure, but overall beaten down quite a bit. So even with that short float, you need to see a real move to get those shorts nervous.
Right, because again, you have to actually break out of that. It's nice to have a smiley face. We always like to smile, but you want that breakout of the top. Some things actually have done that in setups for you. I know that we've talked about those, but can I get your thoughts on? We talked about Bitcoin, and you gave anybody that's been holding Bitcoin a nice little smile when you sort of gave the technical analysis of what that breakout can do. So not that I want you to follow that up because you've already done the work on what this move means on that daily chart. But what did you see out of it today? Because I think on a day where overall you had some risk off in the general sense, like the Qs were kind of selling into the close, even if they still ended up green. You had all kinds of strength in Bitcoin, and it was very, very relatively strong, and you continue to see it go higher. So we might be on the precipice of a breakout. Are you looking to enter more? Or you just kind of hang on? Like, what's the plan here on BTC? Because it looked hella strong.
I do have those all-time high orders out just because a lot of things I like to try to be, cheeky with my entries and trying to get the best price I can, buying pullbacks, things like that. Bitcoin's one of those that if it's going to break all-time highs, I think you just set out a stop limit order at that price, which I have some, and full disclosure, I own some Bitcoin already. But yeah, what I really looked at, if we just focus on today's candle, is exactly what you said. The Qs opened up. and sold off pretty dramatically. If I look at just Ibit, it opened up and then actually sold off with the cues, but then later in the day reversed and moved higher. Now, I don't want to jinx us because I've been waiting for this trend line break for ages. Looks like it may finally have occurred. We've got 2.1 relative volume, so over double relative volume on that. That is very interesting to me, and I definitely want to get involved there. But what stands up, if you look at my screen up here where I'm showing the top winners of the day from the ETFs, we have WGMI, which is a Bitcoin miners ETF. That was up 10% today. So it may be time for some of these catch-up plays. I remember on, I think it was Friday, I talked about Wolf with everybody and how I liked Wolf over this base. So again, full disclosure, I'm in this name. That's doing fantastic, but it might be time to start looking at names like Mara, sitting right at its 200-day moving average right here. Nice gap up and push that 200-day moving average. It might be time to look at Riot, MSTR. Some of these names might be coming in play because it's one of those, even if these are bad businesses, which in a lot of cases they are, if Bitcoin's going to break out and start ripping to new highs and maybe trying to test that $100,000 mark, you're going to get this rising tide that's going to lift all these boats anyway. So I'm kind of interested in a bit of the catch-up trade. I don't play the catch-up trade too much, but again, names like Mara through this 200-day moving average where it stopped at right to the tick today, that might be an interesting play going into tomorrow if we get some sort of move overnight.
Well, you had me at Mara because my view is as well, like when you're at that top, if you play the things that go to catch up, and again, Mara with a bit of a short float, it's off of those lows looking to break out in its own right. It's the kind of thing where you could fail that high and Mara still might just get a little bit extra relief rally on the overall bullishness. You don't need to rely on the hold of this breakout on the daily in Bitcoin for Mara to continue to go. And one of the things that reinforced that for me today is I was long it in the afternoon. And when Bitcoin pulled back, there was one big heavy candle on the 3-minute, Mara just continued higher after that. So that just affirmed it for me, that exact point. I'm going to look to that for some catch up. I think Wolf is a great play. I'm glad you brought that up. But Adara has a question, which is somewhat crypto related, be it that crypto is a 24-hour market. So I'm going to throw you to Adara.
Hi, Michael. I saw your tweet about the new market hours there for the NYSE saying that it's all the more reason to become systematic with your trading and use systems to execute. So with that in mind, I guess, what are your thoughts on this? We know that you like charting during the weekend, so this, I guess, could potentially get in the way of the charting time. Are you planning on trading these extended hours? I guess, what's your take?
Yeah, so my comment there and the point of that. So first of all, it's going to happen eventually. Eventually, the markets are going to be 24/7 traded. It's not an if, it's when. Is it next year? Is it 5 years? Is it 10 years? Who knows? But as soon as Bitcoin started to trade 24/7 and everybody was fine with that, I knew this was an inevitability. And what I mean, and for the people who trade crypto, they know this, there's a lot of benefits to being in the world that we are today where we can have systems trade for them. I'm a systematic trader, and I actually have a podcast where I talk about systematic trading. And the idea is that you could do all of your work for trading in a very short period of time throughout the day. You could set all your orders and then just leave. You're no longer constrained by time. So I'm very excited for it because, for example, Mara, we're talking about what's going to happen tomorrow. Well, if the market was still open and currently open, I could put a stop order to say, get me in over that 200-day moving average. And then if I get filled, put out a protective stop under this base, and I could walk away and it could, alert me on my phone, or your broker could just tell you when you get filled. I think that's going to be much more important. The reason I was really kind of hammering the table on that is because I saw a lot of people saying, oh man, I'm going to have to stay up 24 hours to trade and I'm going to have to watch the market all the time. And certainly, no, you're not. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to lean on technology more. And that's something that we do, that I do myself and that they do over at Trade Ideas, is that you can have systems trade your trading plan for you that separates you from having to sit there and actually push the buttons, which for a lot of people, it just makes them better traders anyway. I think that's just going to force this a little bit more where you're not going to be able to trade the market all the time. So you might as well figure out a way to make a computer do the button pushing, and then you spend more of your time thinking about ideas and things like that.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely perfect answer. And thank you so much for that, Michael. It's so true. Ultimately, it's still going to come down to, what are you looking at and why? What are the areas that you like for a trade? What's your reason for getting in? But you're going to see that automation start to come, and you're dead set about more. Like you could put that break, and for just in trading terminology, you could put a bracket in there as well, because you get your bracket order in there. You can get some take profits out. Like all of that can go into play if you've done that homework. But you know what? You still have to find yourself a good platform that allows you to do all of that work, that allows you to execute. So I think it is coming, but like it just behooves us to become better traders and adapt to whatever the market is going to throw at us, right? Like everything, every market change I always find is a bit of an opportunity, I think, in a general sense, right? For those that are really dedicated to putting in that work and effort. I wanted to make sure that we didn't miss covering anything here for you, Michael. I only have a few minutes to get in here. Was there anything on your mind? I know I bombarded you with that very difficult Ford and GM question, and then of course we talked about some BTC, but anything else on your mind?
Kind of the opposite of BTC, I think, is Deckers, which is a footwear manufacturer. This came into a scan that I do and I talk about here all the time, and I'll probably start to talk about in the next coming weeks, where I like to look at a couple days after earnings to see if there's some sort of consolidation, if the chart looks nice, if earnings are holding. Like we mentioned in GM, that's going to go on a watch list to keep an eye on as well. This one's doing actually fantastic. I don't know what kind of shoes these guys make, but this chart has just been an absolute monster, down from $50 up to $150 in just about a year and a half. And now it's been basing for a long period of time. Again, came through one of these algorithms that I'm running and jumped up over that base. So I'm watching this one very closely, because now we have two candles that are kind of indecision candles, with a large topping tail and a large bottoming tail, and this candle being inside as well. So if this can get a pretty strong move over this 170 area, I'm liking the look of this. It's got almost 2 days to cover, even though it's a shoemaker, so really what it's going to do. So this is going to be a slower move, but it's just been an incredibly strong stock, and if it's going to continue doing this crazy stair step higher after every earnings report this thing seems to run for a bit, this is definitely one thing that I'm going to be watching going into tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care what they do if the chart looks like that. Ultimately, you care what they're doing is working for them, right? So, like, I think that's a greater concern. That 200 period, I mean, you've got to be kidding me. As you were zooming out, I was doing the same thing here on TradingView. I was zooming out to try to find when this thing was actually underneath that 200 period moving average, and I settled on, what do we have? It looks like it was July of 2022. So that's the last time this was holding underneath the 200 period moving average. I mean, like, come on, like that's an absolutely gorgeous looking chart. But that's what it's all about, as you said there, Michael. You got to have your scans. You got to know what to look at. You want to be in the right place. If you're mostly a long trader, you want to find those strong trends to the upside. I think that's a great look here for Deckers. I don't know too much about that. I know they have like a few brands in there as well, but it doesn't matter. You found yourself a little bit of a breakout. So as usual, you knock it out of the park for us, Michael. I mean, obviously we've had some big, strong moves, and I want to shout out to that wolf actually. Before we get out of here, I want to shout back out to that wolf and maybe just ask you one last question about it, because
absolutely,
with all these breaking out, I knew there was something I was forgetting. So you've gotten, I mean, you look at the chart, you've gotten what you wanted. It just made the local breakout in here. Now, do you have any so when you make this break, do you have any concern that if we fail this breakout, capturing some profits or protecting the in the money here, or are you just kind of sticking with the system, like let it go? Like what happens next for Wolf? Because it just made the local breakout, you get the consolidation, it just happened today.
I try to stick to the system when I'm being strong. I try to just say, in this case, you pick a moving average and you say, I want to hold it as long as it stays above that moving average, because then it can continue to push higher if I'm right. I give it that breathing room, and if I'm wrong, it'll break that moving average fairly quickly and I'm out. However, in my weaker moments, what I end up doing is generally, when you get a push like this, especially looking at this today, at one point it was up, I think 15% or over 10% today anyway. Taking some off the table, especially if you're starting to get nervous, I don't think hurts anything. And then even if you take a third of that off the table and you put some money in your pocket, then if this does come and reverse and fails the breakout and stops you out, then it's probably a break-even trade, to maybe even you made a little bit of money. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think net, if you run your trades over a long history, you'll make way more money just holding and letting the system play out. But you have to kind of deal with the human emotions as well.
Yeah.
And unloading some of the position into a big move like that will certainly help with that. So if you want to be fully robotic, you just let it go. If you get a little bit nervous about giving profit back, then I don't think there's anything wrong with taking a third or a half off the position when you get a really good move like that.
There you go. And you have it from Mr. Nas. Wolf, we hope it makes that continued roar. I guess it wouldn't be a roar.
Howl?
Howl to the upside, I suppose. Thank you very much, ADRs. She's just all over with the puns. But thank you so much, Michael Nas from Trade Ideas. Wolf knocking out of the park. Bitcoin possibly making this break. And shout out to that Deckers call. We'll keep an eye on that one the next couple of days. So thank you for all of that, Michael.
Awesome. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys on Friday.
See you on Friday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Here we go. And once again, Michael knocks it out of the park. See, this is the thing. Whether we're talking, trading ideas out there or throwing unbelievably difficult on-the-spot questions like what do we think about Ford, we've got it all. Just a quick update before we get into this. We got to get into this roll call. It's already 4:30. But Ford is back at the lows. So, Ford, as much as we said early on, you had that revenue beat. They don't like the guide. It's at the low, down 2.5%. But I didn't want to only lead with that one. Whoops, I just typed in VFS instead of VFC. Wow, I went VinFast instead of VFC. No, VFC up 17%. 17% and squeezing higher. So a good look for VFC. That one to the upside looking very, very charged up. But you know what time it is, everybody? Time for a little roll call action. A little something we do at the end of the day.
Yep.
Well, first, we thank everybody for being a part of this fantastic community. And then when you throw your name in the chat, you get it read off in rapid fire fashion by Adara over here. So first things first, big shout out to our entire team. We have Fabian on the ones and twos in the after show, but Ramin here. We had Andre hard at work pretty much all day long as well. Shout out to the midday crew. We had Joe joining Sharif, my man Sean Katina in there with that Tesla short. We had Adara. Of course, want to thank you for wearing green and doing your best to hold the markets up, even if the red has been the one that's been working, always giving us the energy and giving us that news live. But you know what? Bears versus Bulls, we couldn't do this without you, the best moderator in all of YouTube. Thank you so much for making this community work the way that a good trading community should. So with that said, thank you, Michael Moss. Thank you, Bears versus Bulls. Let's get some roll call, Adara.
Yeah, thank you to everybody. I'm going to start reading out names now. RFID Trader, Ari Pages, Retired Shenanigans on the Blockchains, Jin Jimenez. We have Bristol. We have Bears versus Bulls. Thank you for everything you do. Michael Spadafora, The Piper, Darwin, Havana, Woody, Kristen, Norman, Anurag. We got Mui. We have Silverado Blue. We have Stephen Romero, Drops Family, Christopher Holcomb. We have Matt C, Borahout, Valhalla, Travel Buddy, TH, Dan H, Marie L, Donkey Trader, James Foster, NYC, Ibernista, Retired Shenanigans, Alaric B. We have Neil Roberts. We have the Philanthropist Baker, Glass Guy, Doc Watson, Eli. We have Silverado Blue again, Raul, Malcolm Aldridge, Craig, Zion Lala, shout out, Manish, Mark Joseph Delgado, Aaron Ariga, we have Doc Watson again, CompuCare Team Chico, Gassed Out POV, Janak Patel, and Silverado Blue one more time. So it looks like we got to the end of that list. Thank you guys so much, all of you, for being here every single day. We have so much fun being here. Also worth noting, TMDX, that Transmetic that had the super chat about it. Ooh, earnings were bad. They missed across the board. Their guidance pretty much entirely missed the estimate there. Down about 25%, EPS missed, sales missed. They guided the next quarter revenue, or I think fiscal year revenue, between 425 and 445. Analysts were looking for 440, 436.
Yeah,
I'm very sorry.
I know that's a nasty looking one. I mean, we looked at the chart live and I was like, that looks nasty. And sometimes a not good looking chart, you get a bad result. But you know what?
20% short float too.
It's got a 20% short float, 6 days to cover, and it's down 30%. Possible SSR bounce play tomorrow. That's the best thing about the markets here. This might be down, but it doesn't mean it can't go back up. And maybe we'll find an SSR bounce on TMDX tomorrow. You guys are all going to find out tomorrow. We'll have more Tesla. We'll have more crypto names. We'll have more nuclear names. We'll have it all here for you, everything that is live. We'll have Sofi earnings before the bell as well. Maybe we'll look at Ford and cry a little bit, then not trade it. But for everyone here at Trader TV Live, we're doing it all again tomorrow. So check us out 8:30 in the morning. We are the only live trading show, and we're here for you every day the markets are open. And if it's 24/7 later, we'll figure that out too. See you tomorrow.
See you.